Ooh, we're kind of live right now.
Kind of live.
Kind of live. We're about 3 minutes early.
Oh.
Nobody's viewing yet, so it's all good. We may not have any viewers tonight, so doesn't matter. But in 3 minutes, we'll be live. Live. But we're live now. So no, not yet. But he needs to come on. Where you at, son? You got 3 minutes. We're kind of live right now. Kind of live. We're about 3 minutes early.
Said that it started at 8.
Nobody's viewing yet, so it's all good. We may not have any views.
I was like, starts at 8. And so she's like, that's an hour from now. I'm like, she's like, your time? I'm like, yeah. So like 2 minutes.
Pick your headphones. Pick your headphones. Got to, let's see, Miles will probably push this one more here. Now talk into the microphones when you speak tonight, because that way I can hear everybody. We got one viewer. I don't know who's watching, but somebody's watching us. We ain't started recording yet, so, and there's a slight delay between us and what they're seeing.
Wait, who's already seen you?
I don't know who's seen us yet.
Jessica.
Is it?
She said lies. I'm viewing.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Congratulations, Jessica.
And she'll get it in a second. Oh, I'm a big boy. Look at the fat boy.
Me?
No, me.
I guess I'll leave it there.
You just got to be within vicinity of that one because since it's a condenser. Come on, Justin. Two
Did
people
you
are
happen
watching.
to
3
bring-
people are watching.
Huh?
Did you
Yay.
happen to bring your like super long iPhone cable?
Nope.
Okay.
I don't even know where my cable is.
Do you have an extension cable by any chance?
No.
Oh, okay.
Who's the mystery guest? Keep these.
Nope.
No?
Nope. There is a mystery guest.
Wesley.
So for people who are watching, you can live chat with us right now. We'll continue to mention that. We're not started the podcast yet because we have late people, mainly my partner, Justin, who I'm about to Facebook and say, where you at? We're live. So just to let you know, if you put your headphones on, it makes some noise. You'll hear every little noise come through because these things are great. These things, I mean, you can fart in the back room and hear it here.
Hear that, Jessica? You can hear me fart all the way from North Carolina. So we can turn the fan on?
Oh yeah, Robbie, right around the corner there. You can turn that fan on. If Justin was ever on time, I'd be surprised. Hey, there we are. Yay, Justin.
Justin? Where's your face, Justin?
Let's
I wanna
see.
take
Let me see if I
Snapchat.
Wait, can you hear Justin?
I can't hear anything.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I was
All right.
on yet.
Just hold on 1 second. I gotta do one thing at a time. All right, let's see. You're here.
So when our mystery guest shows up,
You're here.
ooh, I can hear myself.
Check.
Yes.
Yeah, you can hear.
All of the hearing.
Robbie, your voice sounds so much better over this.
Oh, I know. I'm using my radio voice.
And we're back.
Hello and welcome to Camp Bowers.
Welcome to the Bad Christian Podcast. Oh, wait, that's the wrong place.
Did you get the invite? Did you get the invite? See, that's why I wanted Justin to come on earlier so I could get him on.
London, get out of here.
This is the part that people are like, why am I watching this? And
Yeah,
then,
pretty much.
we got 5 viewers though. Wee
Hey.
doggy.
So
If you're viewing, us on YouTube, go into the comment section and give us a little comment saying, "Hey, I'm here."
Us on YouTube.
Ooh, as long as you're not doing it on Wi-Fi.
So I just looked over.
There we are.
And saw
Aha.
Oh gosh.
Whoa, man, your volume is nasty.
All right.
Oh my gosh.
I could hear all the smack talking you were doing, and I'm like, I'm here, guys. I'm here.
quieter.
Let me ask you a question. You don't have YouTube up, do you?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. You're gonna have to close your YouTube, or you're gonna have to mute it.
Done.
All right, good. There we go. That's better. Yeah. So I've just got to figure out how to put us all in the same screen now.
All right.
That's why I wanted you to be here like at 7:30ish, so I can work all these kinks out.
I know. Well, my charger actually snapped,
Oh my!
and so I had to go and borrow friends. So yeah, this thing is toast.
All right. Let's see. Just got to figure out how to do the both of us at the same time.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let me get my cameraman app up here.
And everyone else watching, which would make it awkward.
All 5 viewers.
Yes, all 5 viewers, because we're famous.
Okay, that's not working. All right, give me a second. I just don't know how this works, so just
Yay.
why don't you talk for a minute?
All right, you got it. So I'm here.
All right, hold on a second.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so what happens is it switches on whoever's talking. So cool. So when
All
you
right.
start, you go big, and when we're
Okay.
talking.
Oh, so it just switches back and forth?
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty neat.
Yeah, so it does the cameraman stuff for me.
Nifty.
What did you say, Miles?
I was thinking it'd be trippy for people watching.
Yeah, so everybody's watching. I'm gonna go back and forth.
Yeah. Especially because it's like a super close-up view of him, and we're all far
Oh,
away.
jeez.
See your whole face.
Ah!
Every freckle.
Ah.
Who's Jessica?
Freckles.
Who's Jessica? Yes, is that your friend?
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. I just told her, hey. So we're waiting on one person. They're running late. They got today. It's a special guest. So just we're going to wait for them. Everybody be patient. They're about 6 minutes out.
I thought we were special. I'm the specialist because I haven't been on here before.
Neither has this next person.
So then we are equally special, but Robbie is not.
No.
Yeah, Robbie.
Robbie's very special.
He's the onions of the podcast.
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
the onions.
The onions, what, the
Well,
layers?
He may be the onions, but I'm the onions. Funyuns.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting. It's just going to be interesting. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
I added a few new sound bites for you, Justin.
Oh, jeez.
Just give you a couple of them.
All right.
Thank you. I'll be here all week.
Sweet.
Do you know what that's from?
I don't think so.
Knight's Tale.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Yep, you didn't know either, Miles. It's okay.
That it was the blonde guy from those British. Man, that makes it really difficult to talk. the blonde guy from Run Fat Boy Run and all of those things. I thought it was that guy.
It's kind of the
Now that you say Knight's Tale, I know exactly what you're talking about. It's the buttless or the naked guy.
negative.
The buttless guy.
The buttless
Buttless
guy.
guy. There aren't very many of them. So.
What else did I add tonight? I did add. Well, I put this one back on.
Quantum alive. No disintegration.
And I added this one back.
Nice. Classic.
Oh, here we go. And this one is going to be played at some point.
But what are we, a team? No. We're a chemical mixture that makes chaos. We're a time bomb.
That's from
No.
I know the actor sounds super familiar.
Yeah, he does.
Justin.
Not a clue.
Man.
Can you play it one more time?
All right.
But what are we, a team? No. We're a chemical mixture that makes chaos.
That's the
We're-
Hulk guy. That's
We're a
Hulk.
time bomb.
Nailed it.
Yes, it's from the Avengers.
Nice.
I just wanted to add a
Only
couple.
seen that movie once, actually.
I had the guy's face though in my mind as soon as I heard it. I just didn't know what scenario it was.
Right.
Wait,
Were
Jessica says that Robbie is the onions because he makes everyone cry.
Where are you getting the comments from?
I think you may have met her before.
You can,
I brought her back on.
if
spring
you're
break
on the
break.
YouTube page,
I brought her back.
the link to the
Yeah.
right, there'll
This
be a
sounds
comment
weird.
section.
Okay, cool.
Brought her back. Like,
Uh-huh.
I saved.
I'm about to share the link so my friends can jump in too.
Remember
Yeah.
staying with Greenville.
It's going to be interesting going back and
No,
forth
green.
because I don't know how to figure. I don't know how to split the screen
I
on the
brought her back.
broadcast.
Like,
Yeah.
While we're waiting
Like
for
you
our
took her
guest,
there?
everybody, please be patient with us. We're just goofing off. If you want to goof off, with it,
Hey.
type it right in there. And I'm going to do a little research on splitting the screen in the Google Hangouts live broadcast.
Woot woot.
3-2 and triple overtime. Overtime.
I saw that.
Oh my God.
Pretty intense.
Yeah,
Triple overtime
Triple.
is more than 2 overtimes.
Yeah, I was going to say triple.
But it's one less than 4 overtimes.
Yeah, we.
5 is straight out.
Is it a special thing down at NGU that you have to explain triple to be 3? I don't know. It
No.
seems.
It's special for it to be a Monty Python reference.
I got so mad because I was watching on my phone and it's like 3 minutes behind, but because my internet's so bad, I ended up being like 8 minutes behind, like the running. And so I get a notification on my phone. It's like Blackhawks scored. I'm like, go away, go away. I get so mad because you just ruined the whole thing for me.
Hey, Jessica. I popped my thumb. She can't do that.
I couldn't even hear it.
Yeah, I couldn't hear it either, but it happened.
Ooh, Dragon Ball Xenoverse today for like $40.
I saw that Snapchat.
I'm so stoked. Wait, though. So it took, with my internet's so bad, it took like 3.5 hours to download. So I just watched Supernatural until it downloaded. And played Destiny. Oh, the new Destiny thing's out too.
DLC pack?
Mm-hmm. You like it? They give you a sidearm now for your special weapon, and it's a pistol that it can fire as fast
Oh,
as
it's
you can
trigger
pull the
finger?
trigger.
Sweet.
It does some work. Because anytime you just run out of ammo, I'm just like, I'll switch to this thing, and then I end up playing with it for like half the game. I'm like, oh yeah, I have a primary.
How do you get ammo for the side weapon?
It drops. It's the green ammo,
Oh, so it's the same ammunition as.
like a sniper rifle or a fusion rifle.
It seems kind of like a ripoff.
But it's super good.
Bam. Sweet. I just shared it.
Good. So we'll as people are watching, we'll just keep reminding them that the video is going to go back and forth between whoever's speaking, whether it's, hey, there's a guest here. Would you want to mind getting the door?
No, it's good.
Who's it?
I'm so excited. Special guest.
Dude.
Oh yeah.
Did you say Aaron Phelps?
What?
I wouldn't have got that if it wasn't for the mic. These headsets pick up everything.
I told you, man. You can hear everything.
Hello, Aaron.
All right, get the hugs out of the way. We got to get started. We're running late.
I get to sit next to Aaron.
You want this too?
It doesn't matter. I just need to plug those headphones in right
I
there.
guess I don't get to sit next to Aaron.
Oh yeah.
Okay, Aaron, you got the big beats. Just have to turn them on the side there.
Hi Aaron. I see like half your face.
Wow, you can. Wow. Oh yeah, you can hear them through there. Are they turned on? Can you hear things?
You want to scoot over here this way more?
I'll scoot all the way over there.
Just sat in his lap. That'll make for an interesting podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Is it loud?
I didn't
Yeah,
work
too
on
loud?
that today.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
We're gonna switch feeds.
On this.
We're gonna
I
switch
lost
feeds.
everything. I'm deaf.
No, I'm switching feeds with you. Okay. She needs her own.
Hey, my campus minister liked the link, so maybe he's watching.
How does it sound for you now? Loud or is it good?
Sounds good.
Okay. Are you good, Miles?
Yeah.
Good here?
Hey, we have 5 watching. Sweet.
Yep, we have 5 people watching. Okay. Let's see. Here's what we're gonna do. Let's kind of discuss the flow of tonight, so everybody knows.
Yeah.
Erin said she wanted to stop by. So Erin's here and she's joining us on the podcast. So
Finally. Woo!
this is not a scheduled stop, so I gotta fix my mic. So I don't like this.
Ba-ba-ba.
Okay, let's see. Do-do-do-do-do.
Whoa.
Go away, dog.
Get out of here.
Get out of here, London. Nobody
Did
loves
you
you.
find out anything about the split screen?
Yeah, can't do it.
Okay.
Google Hangout doesn't let you do it. So, oh, yeah, get that out your system, Justin.
What? High energy. I'm ready to go, man. Let's do this.
All right. So what we got tonight is we'll open up with just whatever. We'll talk about whatever is happening in your lives and stuff like that. And then, and for anybody who's watching live, this is you get behind the scenes. We haven't got to where we actually start the live episode when we record the podcast. We haven't even started recording the podcast yet. So, and then we're going to get into, we kind of talked about, Aaron, Christian college experience, because we've talked about secular college experience, and it's kind of good that you're here because Wingate's a little bit, I think, less strict than like UU is.
Yes.
I would say it's like Appalachian State compared to Wingate, probably.
Compared to North Greenville.
Yeah, it's night and day. So we're going to talk about that. Like, we got some questions. We can, and the good thing is because we're a podcast that doesn't really care where the topic goes. If it needs to lead somewhere else, we can lead somewhere else. Justin, do you have stuff for the end?
Yes.
All right, good. All right, I've got music for this evening, which we need to round up about, I don't know, about $300 so we can go ahead and get our license. That's another thing.
So, if you'd like to donate,
yeah, and Justin will be setting up a GoFundMe or something of that nature to help us get the nonprofit and our proper licensing. So we'll be setting up. We need to get legit.
All right.
Let me text Bobby back and we'll get official here.
Let me fix mine. It's fine.
Your hair looks gorgeous, Aaron.
See, you guys have an advantage because whoever's watching your screen, they have like 4 options to choose from, so you can kind of goof off a little bit, but anytime I'm speaking, it's just directly on me.
But that also means you can goof off the whole time you're not talking.
Exactly.
That's true too. But no, I've made a few noises and it switched back to me if I just like accidentally hit the desk or something, so I can't goof off quite as much.
Yeah, I love the one where you're like.
Then it just cuts back.
If it's any consolation, I'd be willing to watch you all night. Too weird.
Not the weirdest, but kind of weird.
Okay, so all right. So guys and girls, we're getting ready to get started.
All right.
All right. Are we all ready?
Sure.
All right, we're live recording for the
Yeah,
podcast. Oh, crap. Of course, it never fails. I start it and I got to stop it, and
Hey, we have 7 people watching now.
Oh, that's scary. Well,
Getting famous.
if we get 9, that'll be more than last week.
Hey.
So here we go. All right. So just real quick, everybody, when you talk, make sure you sit forward to the mic and talk so we get a good quality. And we're recording. Yes, we're recording in 3, 2, 1. And that means Justin is back.
You've missed me. Don't you lie. You've missed me.
Past 2 weeks.
His
No,
week
only 1 week.
is over. His week of vacation is over.
Yep.
And
I'm back.
Yes. So welcome everybody for Getting Walls the podcast, and we're on episode 22, which
That's
is
right.
it's crazy, man. 22 episodes, and this evening I am your stressed, overworked, big boy host, Keith Wilson.
I feel like that's the story every week.
Isn't it? Gosh, it is. And back from Florida from his Calvinist conference. All the way from his. Is the apartment empty?
No, there's still 1 roommate left.
Okay.
But yeah, he's pretty chill. He just lives downstairs and he's pretty quiet. So.
Justin Davis, people.
Woo!
And joining us tonight, we'll start with a returning guest, the Bear.
Yeah.
Junior,
Onions.
the Onions, yes, because Robbie Boland.
Hey.
Oh yeah.
And we have 2 new guests who's never been on a show with us, which is going to be interesting. I almost wanted to get them on separately, like one at a time, because one podcast is not enough. But anyways, from just down the street, missing the fro, Miles Coster.
Woo!
We're going to have to teach him how to sit up at the mic and talk, but it's okay.
Yep.
And our 3rd female guest, Erin Phelps.
Hey!
Hey, there we go. The point of the podcast is to talk.
Come on, people. High energy. Let's do this.
Try to talk.
High energy.
High energy.
Woo!
And Miles just got closer. Maybe we need to push the mic closer to Erin, and so we can get some good quality on that talk.
Robin,
Yeah, Aaron, you've been meaning to come on the podcast for a long time.
Quite
I remember it was around like episode 5 when I
Yeah,
think you messaged us about being on the podcast.
yeah,
But our time schedules just never kind of worked out. But we're super glad to have you on this podcast.
absolutely. Erin's on the podcast with us. And speaking of all that, all you are college kids.
Oh yeah.
Everybody's a college kid.
Not
Everybody's
for much longer.
No, not for much longer.
so sad.
But when are you done, Erin?
Next year.
Next year?
Mhm.
Spring?
Yeah.
Okay. So you've got a full 2 semesters left.
Yep.
Okay. Y'all 2 are about the same, right?
Yeah, I have 28 hours left. So that's 2 semesters.
Oh, okay.
That's not bad.
About 2.5 semesters. Can you finish it in 2 semesters?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's 14 hours a semester. That's doable.
Yeah, Justin. Just because you can do like 29,000 in a semester, doesn't
I only
mean-
did 26 in 1 semester, and that was freshman year, and I'm never doing that again.
Oh yeah. He's like, yeah. I thought I was smart.
Yeah, I was
Still
like
got
that.
all A's though, so.
And he goes, I did 29 in 1 semester. I don't see why I can't do it in 1 semester.
You
I was
know,
like, Dad, get out of
The
here.
problem with Justin is
Bueller.
I'm not letting it bother me. It's done. So you did it on the last podcast that I wasn't here, so it's
Yeah.
done.
well, it's in memory, man. Come on now. Woo! And
All right.
I love the fact that so throughout the podcast tonight, we're going to refer back to the people who are watching us live and kind of hit some of their comments because that's going to change the podcast up a little bit. You know,
Oh,
I
yeah.
the stuff out if I need to, but Uh, I guess a friend of yours, Annie.
Yeah, that's
Who-
Jessica's sister.
That's Jessica's sister. That's great. You're not a creeper, and I love that she's like hi Miles and other random guys.
She knows him.
Yeah, I know everyone.
All right. So, anyways, everybody's back from school. The cool thing is I want to talk about. All right, so y'all are in from college. Miles, you're actually working a job right now. Robbie's not.
Hey, I ran into the lady that owns the aisles
Yeah.
at Food Lion, and I was like, hey, I texted you like a month and a half ago about working there again. And I was like, so what's up with that? And she was just like, oh, just come in, and we'll get you a schedule worked up and everything. And I was like, well, I'm going to work at Boy Scout summer camp in a couple weeks. And she's like, that's fine. We'll just get you when you can work.
Oh man, come on.
So we're working back at the
Super
aisles.
sweet.
I can't even get one of my kids a job, no matter what he does. Like he goes everywhere and can't get a job anywhere. And it's like, man, you know, I just text. And Aaron, are you working right now? You just got back today, right?
I got back Tuesday.
Tuesday,
Wait, what's today? Wednesday? Yeah. I
Yeah.
got back Monday.
Monday. Okay.
And so next Thursday, I'll be going to Myrtle Beach for Summer Beach Project, which is like a program through our campus ministry where we work a job in Myrtle Beach. We live in the Sea Mist, which is a hotel right on the Strip,
Yeah, I know where the scene is.
3 stars at most.
Yeah.
What other hotel would let 120 college kids roam around and live there for the whole summer?
So what is it that you're going to be doing down there?
So we'll be working jobs. We'll be doing some beach evangelism.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah. Lots of Bible studies and just learning how to live in community, a very close-knit community at that.
Okay. All right. That's cool. We'll come back to that. I'll
Okay.
come back to that.
I figured.
Oh yeah, we're definitely gonna come back to that. And y'all have a thing that y'all gonna do, but it's more like work. Y'all are working at the Boy Scouts camp, and at Camp Bowers is that?
Oh,
it?
yeah. Camp Bowers.
Camp Bowers.
Right outside of Fayetteville, Vietnam.
Vietnam.
Yeah.
Oh, good old Vietnam.
But
Home of
so
the Eastern Wild Mountain Panthers.
Oh, yeah, in Forest, Wales. That's where they roam.
okay. So Justin,
Yeah?
your college summer break looks like what? You're just working and doing this, right?
Yeah, I'm still working at the Cookie Co. So still delivering cookies 2 days a week. And then I also got a job with the university for the next about 2 months, where I'm gonna be doing broadcast and film for the religion department, and so really excited about that. Been working on that the past few days, so yeah. I'll probably starting in July is when I'll have a lot more free time. But
Okay.
yeah.
Well, we got a lot of work to do here.
Oh yeah.
So back to Aaron. So tell us more about beach evangelism.
Yeah, that sounds really interesting. Is it literally just people going up to people on the beach like, "Hey, have you heard about Jesus?"
No.
Okay.
Thank
Shut
God.
down.
So I've done something like this before, but we've had like water to give out to people just on the
Oh, that's
beach.
awesome.
Hey, would you like some water? They usually say yes because it's hot. And
Right.
then usually ask them like, would you mind if I prayed for you, or do you have anything that you would like for me to pray for right now or later? Because some people don't like being prayed,
Right. Yeah.
which I can totally respect.
Right. It's a little uncomfortable for some people.
Yeah, especially on the beach. Ugh.
Yeah.
You're like laying down and someone's like, gonna pray over you. But anyway,
That's interesting.
but anyway, this is gonna be more like just asking people, hey, do you have a few minutes? I'd like to share with you what I've been learning this summer. It's not like, do you know the Lord?
Okay.
Not
Gotcha.
really track based.
Yeah. Yeah. Where you have like a bullet points and you go through it.
All right, that's interesting. I like what you're doing there. So you're working jobs,
Mhm.
just wherever. So where do you know where you're going to be working at?
Yes.
No,
Which
please.
I'm sure will be brought up again. I'll be working at Chick-fil-A.
Hey, yes.
Why do I feel like that's
The Christian chicken.
Why do I feel like that's like stereotypical? Like,
Because it is.
what are some other places people work at?
Sonic. People are working at the Sonic we used to go to, actually.
Aww.
Okay.
Bananas.
So
Yeah.
let me ask you this question too. While I got you, what is the point? Is the point of the job to make money, or is it like finding a way to build relationships and the jobs to evangelize there as well?
Basically both. Also to teach yourself how to steward your time and your money.
Okay.
So we'll be working 30 to 40 hours a week.
Which
And-
Chick-fil-A are you working at?
Surfside.
Oh, that's right by where I work at.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, please come visit.
Nice.
That's gonna be nice, yeah. That's crazy. Now, you guys will be at Boy Scout camp,
Oh yeah.
which is now we don't get to do this often. Just kind of talk personal stuff. We usually get
Yeah.
into crazy stuff, which I got something really crazy I want to talk about here in a second. But
All right.
Boy Scout camp. Now, Robbie's given me many stories from Boy Scout camp because he was there as a Boy Scout, right?
Yeah.
And now you're there as a counselor or whatever you call yourself.
Yeah. I'll be the program director this year, so I'm like
Hey,
Like-
fancy up in here.
the camp now.
King
That's gonna be-
Robbie.
Yay, right. Yeah. So, what are you doing this year?
I'm going to be the archery director for the Scouts, which is super funny because when I got the job, I shot a bow and I'd never been in Boy Scouts.
Right.
My certifications were basically that I had a beard and was 21.
So to be like a teacher, leader, counselor for the Boy Scouts, the prerequisite is a beard.
Be a man.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's all you have to
And
do.
well, mostly they look for people that are over 18 to
Yeah.
run
Oh,
So
man.
to run the areas.
Not
right.
really.
Just be over 18 to do that.
Okay. All right.
Because we have a plethora of 16, 17, 15-year-olds that want to work summer
Nice
camp,
word, Rob.
Right.
but no one over 18 usually sticks around.
It's that college education coming
Yeah,
in. A plethora
We
of
actually-
I'm a senior now, so
I actually learned that word from Jessica, and I taught it to Robbie. I'm pretty sure.
plethora. I don't
Yeah.
think so.
You don't think so?
No.
Oh, this is gonna be interesting. So, we've got Beach Campus
Beach
Ministry
project.
Beach Project.
Mhm.
Okay, and then we got Boy Scouts of America, and Justin's just being a normal guy working this summer. Guess what I'm doing this summer? What I
Working.
do every summer. Work. I've been doing it for way too long now. Can somebody just go ahead and fund this project so I don't have to go to my day job anymore? I mean, if you got like a buttload of money sitting around, dude, I'm down to take the donation. Help us get our nonprofit. I'll give you a tax write-off. I know that sounded bad, but anyways. So there is something that caught my eye this week, and the reason I'm doing it is because Erin's here, because she's into the social justice situations and human trafficking and things like this. So I'm going to maybe I'll just summarize the story. So it's about North Korea.
Okay.
You,
Oh.
you may have heard about it, I'm sure.
Yeah, I posted this on Facebook.
Did you post it? Because
Yeah, the exact article.
oh, so yeah, so
Yeah,
you're the
you
reason.
posted it.
You're the reason I probably saw this. But anyways, it says North Korea turning to human trafficking for foreign currency. So let me give you a little overview. It says to generate new income, the North Korean government has engaged in state-sponsored trafficking of its citizens, sending them to work as forced laborers in other countries and confiscating all or most of their wages. I see it as just starting to get attention. It's an emergent issue on the international agenda, said Scott Snyder, senior fellow for Korea Studies at the Council on Foreign Relations. So basically, let me skip down a little bit. North Korea frequently ranked as the world's worst human rights abuser, has lured between 50,000 and 60,000 citizens to work in industries around the globe with the promise they would keep their wages. According to a paper from the Database Center for North Korea Human Rights presented on Tuesday, instead the wages are sent to the North Korean government. I can't read tonight, generating as much as $2.3 billion per year. I don't know about y'all, but that's some strange stuff right there. You've got like 60,000 people. They were told, "Hey, we're going to send you overseas somewhere to work. We're going to send you out of the country to work, and you get to keep all your wages." But every dime that they are making goes right back to North Korea, and they're generating $2.3 billion off these people. I hate to say there's not a whole lot we can do about it unless somebody just goes in there and spanks them real good, the old-fashioned way.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Well, let me ask you a question, Justin. What would you propose to do with North Korea to?
So the line dropped, and so I was out for that entire section. So
Really?
I don't even know. Yeah, but I joined back, so I'm good.
Oh my gosh, he dropped out. So basically, what we was talking about was the North Korean government.
Uh-huh.
Did you hear any of it? None.
No, I just heard about human trafficking.
Okay, so the North Korean government is basically sending about 50 to 60,000 people outside the country to work as laborers.
Okay.
And they're telling these people that they get all their wages, okay?
Right.
But they're not getting any of it. All of it goes back to North Korea, and North Korea is generating about $2.3 billion a year off this. So basically, and also that it's been noted that North Korea is the most human rights abuser in the world. Okay?
Oh, right. Yeah.
So we know, we've heard enough stories from North Korea. I mean, you can watch the news. I don't think a lot of things are over exaggerated about what's coming out of North Korea, what we see. Whereas we could see that from other places, but we have no interest in North Korea as America. Right. There's going to be no media publicity or stunts about it like we would see out of Iraq or the Middle East, where we have some type of
have an agenda.
Yeah, we have a vested interest there, right? There's no vested interest in North Korea outside the fact that we've got some troops over there, and we got some citizens over there. Outside of that, we don't feel that North Korea poses a real threat, which that's kind of crazy to think. When you have, literally, it's a dark country.
Right.
Nobody really knows what's going on over there. I don't know what's going on over there, but we do know some of these things that are coming out of it, and being this type of government. Is there? I would say this, okay, and we're not trying to be political on this podcast at all, but
I feel like we say that every episode.
Well, no, but I'm not political about it.
No, I know.
But we're about people,
Yep.
And it's not about Republican, Democrat. It's not about what we can get out of it. You've got millions of people being abused and treated terribly in this country. Where I think they said at one point there was, you remember when we was talking about how there were 80 people that made half of the money in the world. Well, it's like in North Korea nobody has money unless you're the government leaders. That's it. Everybody's in poverty, and they're pretty much treated badly. I don't know if y'all watched the movie The Interview. If you did, I know it's not a great movie for to watch, but it sheds a funny light on. What you think is going on over there. It's interesting.
There's some truth to it. I actually watched it Sunday.
I had to watch it because it's like, are they just poking fun, just regular old just jokes? Or are they trying to bring some type of truth out of it? And there's a lot of truth in that movie. If you do watch it, be warned. It's it's a James Franco and
Seth Rogen.
So you know what's going to come out of that. But for me on this issue, do you think that there's a peaceful way to get North Korea to act like they're supposed to act?
Well, I'm a big advocate of public shame, especially in the international community. Even though North Korea is extremely corrupt, I feel like a lot of international pressure could be applied to the country. And I mean, they're not broadcasting this stuff. They're killing their people.
Yeah.
There are concentration camps within North Korea. There are 50 concentration camps within the country itself. But we only know this through research of nonprofits.
Right.
There's an organization called Liberty in North Korea that I brought to my Christian college campus twice this past year, and they've been doing some amazing work rescuing people who have escaped North Korea, and they're trying to find work because once they escape, they're even at a risk in North China, usually where they end up. They're at risk of being either sent back to North Korea, killed, or trafficked. So really, the North Korean people don't really have an advocate besides nonprofits, and I think nonprofits are the way to go in order to peacefully combat the North Korean regime. Because they're a totalitarian military regime. I don't think if we apply military pressure,
Well,
I don't know if that would be the best.
Well, I think, well, what happens when military, when military gets involved in situations. But if you were to, and I may be speaking very out of turn here.
All right.
And
I'm listening.
Thank you, Justin. I'm glad. But being prior military and knowing what goes on a little bit, it just seems like as long as that leadership, that family's in power there, you're always going to have, and it's not just that. I think the top generals, the guys who are in command there, as long as that is in place, it will forever be that way. So there's got to be either, a total cleansing, so to speak, at the top, or and I'm not like it's I'm not trying to.
No, keep going. Just get it out there.
But what do you do? You're not going to peacefully resolve this situation. They're not going to give up their power. They're not just going to freely hand it over and say, hey, we're wrong. We're sorry. Let us make amends for this. We want to be friends with everybody. That's naivety. That's wrong.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Erin was saying that the method that she was thinking was like public shaming. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I feel like if you do that, they're not going to be ashamed of it. Because if they're doing it, it's because they believe that it's the right thing to do, or they just don't care if it's the right or wrong thing to do, which is what I think it more so is.
And so they've been outed. They've tried things, and they were outed by their own type of governmental complex. China said, look, no, you're not going to do this. And you're talking about a communist country to a communist country. No, we're not going to support you in that. They don't care. They're closed off in their own little section of the world, and he's got it the way he wants it. And until that leadership changes, that's how it's going to be. And there's going to be millions and millions of people who are going to be consistently treated that way. They're not going to know any type of love. And that's what, I know that, a lot of people fight against religion and Christianity and all these things, saying how harmful it is. But in retrospect, there is nothing more detrimental to humans, the human race, than people like this. And they're all over the world. But nobody's bucking up against them. Let's pick an easier fight, somebody that we can get to bow down to us. Well, why don't we get all our efforts together and try to figure out something to stop that? Because, great, we're in America and this, that, and the other, but you got so many people around the world, not just in North Korea, but other places, being treated crappy. And there's got to be some way that we come together amidst religion and non-religion and everything, and say we can work together as humans, and we can sort out all our differences later. I think the first thing is just trying to save some people from the tyranny that's going on in these places. And honestly, where I see these efforts of hey, we're going to go into the Middle East and we're going to stop Saddam Hussein. Well, I know what happens in those places. I know there's alternate agendas of why we're doing it, but there was mass genocide going on there. When we went into Bosnia, the same thing. I was in Bosnia. I saw what mass grave sites look like. It's not. These things have to be stopped. And as a world, we can say, as the United Nations or whatever, we can come together as a conglomerate and stop these things. But there's always another agenda. There's always another condition on why we want to do it or be a part of it. Well, is there money involved for us? Is there something that we get something from this? And I think there's a place where we got to say the only thing that matters is, human lives.
Mhm. And just to add to that, I think one of the main reasons why the U.S. hasn't done, some significant work against North Korea is that they
Right.
don't have oil.
Oh yeah.
We're just not interested in human rights over,
No.
economic
No.
growth.
You can go far back as the Civil War. It was about slavery. Yeah, well, I guarantee you, it's more about the money that was not being transferred, and there was other agendas there other than just the slave issue. People can say what they want about history books, but when you go back and start looking at real histories of things, it's not what it seems to be. They use the nice things about human rights and human trafficking and all these things to get their pitch out there. But what's it on the backside? If human rights was a real issue for the United States or the United Nations or anything like that, we would have tried to done something about North Korea a long time ago. And it wasn't just the Korean War. There would have been more about it than that. So anyways, way to start off.
I like, just for the record, I like Alan's comment. How do you fix North Korea? Jesus. Bam! Jesus juke.
Yep.
Very good, Justin. And just to let you know, there is a documentary on let's see.
It's on Netflix.
It's on Netflix.
Inside
North Korea. Yeah. Okay. So if you want to check that out, check it out. I will be checking that out this week.
I've actually seen it. It's pretty good.
Good. Justin, you weren't on last week. Before we go into our break and go into the meat and potatoes time.
Yeah.
I did get to watch Jesus Camp.
Okay.
And over there. I was thoroughly impressed with the just the honest and open format that the documentary producers could get from this. I mean,
it's pretty neutral.
It was just like, you couldn't tell which way they were going with it, and I was like, wow, because the radio host, the DJ, where he seems to be a Christian, is somewhere out there in left field somewhere, just like, and then I don't even call our was it Becky or whatever her name, Becky?
Becky Taylor.
Woo! Do you know her personally?
Yes.
Gosh, it figures,
I've
Aaron.
seen her speak.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Yeah, Ramp. Okay.
Shout out to the Ramp.
Yeah.
Stay away from the Ramp.
The Ramp is watching. That doesn't
They're
matter.
not.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. They got other things to do.
Dance.
That's, but so yeah, I watched Jesus Camp. That was a interesting. I'm glad I watched it.
Mhm.
Have y'all seen it?
No, but I heard about it on the last episode that you guys were talking about it.
Netflix.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
If you
on
wanna kill
Jessica
an
and
animal.
Annie's movie list now.
Oh my
okay.
gosh. Be prepared.
Yeah, it can get rough.
Yeah. And then I did watch So For the Bible Told Me So as well.
Oh,
Now,
yeah.
that was good. I
Yeah.
really enjoyed that. If you're into trying to figure out the whole gay and lesbian issue with Christianity, if nothing else, it will help you ask a lot of questions that might not be so devastatingly mean and harsh to those who are, in that flux of I don't really know what I believe or why I should believe things that way.
Right.
And yeah, it kind of, some of it broke my heart. A lot of it's because Christians are just mean people sometimes. And, just because you don't like what somebody's doing doesn't mean you have to be a butthole.
Yeah.
So, I've got other words I'd like to say, but we're gonna keep it clean tonight.
Okay.
Aaron said.
Sounds good.
But yeah, so it's funny because I get to watch myself in delay, so I'm like, I'm not doing that right now.
Oh yeah, on the YouTube.
Yeah, on the YouTube.
On the YouTubes.
On the YouTubes. What was I watching? I'm watching this new show. It's not the greatest show, but I don't care. I'm watching this new show on Hulu. It's called I don't know if anybody's watched it. Probably not because y'all are good Christian kids.
I thought about watching it,
It's-
but I haven't. I
it
was
really-
just like,
Look, it's Robbie. If he was a medium, dude, it's like when you look at this guy, it reminds you of Robbie. It's like
Aw.
beard and beanie and just whatever, eating chips on the couch, you know.
barely.
But you know, it's basically he's a pretty much a lazy bum who is a medium and he can talk to ghosts. And
What?
it's the
I love it.
It's hilarious. And
Seems just like me.
yeah, Robbie's a medium. He's a lazy bum medium who can talk to ghosts.
The natural is talking to ghosts.
Yeah, it's it's a weird show, but it's funny. And you know, I was on Hulu one day, and it kind of just came up after I finished another show, and I started. And I was like, well, that's interesting. I started watching. And I was like, wow, it's hilarious
Nice.
in a certain way. But anyways, good Christian people don't watch that show. Anyway, or do. I mean, hey, do it if you want. You know, it's up to you. But I think that I don't know. Is anything else good going on in your lives? Is there anything you want to let people know since you're here with us, or let me know because I haven't seen you? Like Aaron, I literally haven't seen you in like forever. It seems like.
Yeah. It's only been a month though. Like a month and a half.
Has it?
Yeah.
No.
You just miss me that much.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
It's weird when you're not around, you know, because since I had like all you guys in like youth ministry, it's
Yeah.
weird to, you know, see y'all growing up as adults. It just lets me know I'm really getting old, guys and girls. You can see the grade, just like killing me. But anyways, we'll be back in a minute. Get to the meat and potatoes.
All right, sounds good.
All right, guys and girls, we're back on the show, and that
Woo!
is Brick and Mortar. No, I won't go. Thanks for that suggestion there, Miles. I appreciate
Sweet.
that. Meat and potatoes night will be 3, 2, 1. We're going to pause it. All right, we're on pause for a second, Justin. I gotta
Yeah.
do some fixing on Aaron's mic real quick. So, guys
Okay.
and girls, live. I'm just gotta fix Aaron's mic.
Okay, cool. This is what you don't get to hear on the audio podcast.
No, when I got the music on all the mic, I don't have the ability to mute the mics yet.
Oh.
I'm still in. I need a different soundboard. So I need a soundboard I can do about 4 mics on. But we're getting there, little by little.
Yep.
I never thought we was going to have this many people on the podcast with us at one time.
Yeah.
I mean, we really did a bang out job when we did 7 people in the garage.
Yeah.
Yeah. We made it work, dude.
Yeah, we did. Okay, so we're going to be back in. All right, we're on paused. 3,
All right.
2, 1. So, meat and potatoes times, man.
Oh yeah.
So
This week it's gonna be great because all 4 of us get to talk, and Keith finally gets to be quiet for a minute.
do you think that's really going to happen?
No.
I hope so.
Look, Justin has all the opportunity in the world to talk.
Oh yes, finally, I can speak. But yeah, so this week is really I really like what we're gonna do this week since 4 out of the 5 of us are in college. We wanted to talk about kind of differences, and we kind of go to different types of universities. Like Robbie and Miles, they go to a private a Christian college. And I guess Aaron, you also go to a Christian college, but it's not as like labeled like a Christian college. and stuff like that. And then I go to a secular university. So kind of talk about the differences and some things and experiences that we've had in college. And if I missed anything, go for it, Keith.
Yeah.
Sweet. All right. So who wants to start?
Well, let's do this. Let's just kind of start with, because Justin had a whole episode to talk about his college experience.
I did.
But
Episode 5. Go listen to it.
yeah, episode 5, check it out. So what I'll do is just say, overall, y'all all went to a normal high school, so to speak.
That's a one key.
So, but it was a secular high school. You didn't go to like a Christian school or anything.
No.
No. So, just in relations, what's it like going to a Christian college? I mean, I know you're Christian people, but going to a Christian college, what is that like for you?
Yeah, so like when I first started going to North Greenville, it was super weird because like they'd go out and play frisbee, and then it was like before you went to go play frisbee, it was like who wants to pray, and I was just like, what is this? Like it was just like a kind of like a culture shock to go from like nobody ever does anything like praying or
Right.
Christian wise in quotes, and then going to like a college where everyone's just like, all right, well let's pray before meals, let's pray and do this, let's talk about this, and it was just kind of like a weird thing. But then like you get comfortable in it after you've been there for a little bit, and like that's just how you expect things to be now.
Right.
And then you go out to other places in the world and you're just like, oh, forgot you guys don't do that. Like you see guys like smoking like
Yeah.
out in Greenville, and you're like, you're not allowed to do that, you're gonna get in trouble. Like, oh yeah, you're only not allowed to smoke on campus.
Right.
Like it takes a little bit to get adjusted to
Yeah.
that kind of style of living.
Yeah, one of the things that I found really weird is like you were saying, how you get there and it's kind of a culture shock because going to BCC, nobody there is like super big about like being a Christian or anything like that, whether or not they are. We just kind of had our small little circle of Christians that we would talk about God and or something like that. And then you go to this college where every single person is like, hey, let me pray for you.
Right.
What is it that you're going through or whatever? And so it was pretty cool at first.
Right.
And the thing that got kind of weird for me is that you're going throughout the week and everyone around you is a Christian and you're having to go to chapel every single day, or not every single day, every week, 2 times a week.
Mm-hmm.
And before every class they're praying and stuff like that, and you're like, wow, this is really neat that I'm going to like grow so much with God here.
Right.
But something that kind of started happening like as that went on and you get super comfortable with that, all of those like going to chapel and the prayers before classes, those kind of, or at least for me, kind of began to be more tedious. Like I got comfortable in it, and the I guess nuance, is that the correct word?
Yeah.
Of it, just like this new thing is just kind of gone. I'm just like, well, now I'm just kind of like waiting because this teacher says the exact same prayer every single day, legitimately say what he's going to say while he's praying.
Right.
So literally, it is
Yeah.
kind of funding.
And so as that kind of goes on, and I'm learning all of these, because I mean, me and Robbie are youth ministry majors at this college, so we're taking a bunch of like Christian college classes. Well, not even, I don't know. But being able to be Christian,
Right.
but
Right.
they're very Christian-oriented classes.
Yeah.
And so I'm learning all of this knowledge about God and how to interpret Scripture and things like that. But I'm surrounded by Christians. I was even taking a Principles of Evangelism class this semester.
Right.
And I'm learning all of these different techniques on evangelism, but I'm surrounded by Christians and don't actually get to use it. And so for me to actually go out and evangelize, it has to be much more of a conscious effort of, okay, I'm going to head down to Greenville, like get away from the college campus to actually
Right.
be able to witness to someone
Right.
or talk with someone who at least isn't proclaiming to be a Christian.
Yeah.
Right.
And so that was what I found kind of weird. And it wasn't until I got plugged in with a church that I'm interning at that I really started being able to, I guess, apply those things that I've learned at school more.
Right.
rather than just kind of going through the motions.
Okay. So, Aaron, just want to make the comment that you go to technically a Christian college,
Yeah. Historically Baptist.
historically Baptist, but it's
Yes.
no longer being funded by the SBC any longer, is it?
Well, I'm a little confused by that because I can still apply for the NC Baptist Scholarship,
Yeah.
and the Cooperative Baptist
Yeah.
Fellowship has still got its little hand
Right.
in
Right.
there, but it's slowly.
Okay. Oh, I was getting something from a Southern Baptist pastor. Said that SBC has stopped funding it.
Oh, Alan, or someone else.
The Baptist State Convention.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But so,
She likes my hands.
what was that?
My friend Jessica thinks that I have attractive hands, so she sent me a Snapchat of it on the thing. Figured I'd embarrass her.
So we're going to have to learn podcast etiquette. Everything you say can be heard. I'll figure that one out. But it's okay. It's fun. It's kids, man. It's kids. So
Children.
with Aaron, your experience at Wingate, is it as, I want to say Christian as
Intensely, purposefully Christian as
Yeah.
Robbie and Miles's.
No, not at all. The campus was a dry campus in like 2010 before I got there, but it definitely isn't now.
So you're campus now?
Yes.
That's good.
Sometimes.
We can't
That's
drink
good.
off campus.
Yeah.
I try to get Miles to have no, but Angie, you may kick him out if you find out.
Find out nothing. Nothing against the NGU and Lightner. Thank you very much.
Oh no, I
The
believe that.
Enlightener.
Yeah, I would believe that. Miles is a rules follower. Too much fun on this show. Anyways, so like nobody's out there running the streets in Wingate praying for people.
Mm.
Running the streets.
Praying before classes, things like that.
No, not really.
No, not really.
I'd say about 70% of our professors are not Christians.
Oh.
Chapel was it wasn't even required, but there was an hour for chapel on
Right.
Thursdays at 11, but we took that out of our schedule 2 years ago.
Okay.
But it still wasn't really required.
So technically, Wingate's not a Christian college, but it technically is.
Yeah, yep.
It's in a weird kind of gray zone there.
We say historically Baptist
Right.
because, like Alan said, we're not funded by the SBC anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
But our motto is faith, knowledge, and service. So we still say that we uphold Judeo-Christian values,
Yeah.
but at the same time, that's not really marketed.
Mm-hmm.
When you think of Wingate, you just think of, oh, it's a private school.
Private university.
Right.
Whereas,
But like 20 years ago, for sure,
yeah.
private Baptist,
Yeah.
But-
Okay.
not so much anymore.
All right. So we got, and of course we know Justin goes to the.
Liberal school.
The heathen pagan
Well, I was going to say
Yeah,
like
worshiping.
up in them mountains.
this week is about the fifth best college in North Carolina, but no, we love ASU. We love the
Oh,
Appalachian.
Go
Stuff.
Mountaineers.
Yeah, go Mountaineers.
Didn't we used to be the Mountaineers, Robbie?
No, the Moonshiner.
The
The
Moonshiners.
Moonshiners.
The Moonshiners. What?
God.
Hey,
Yeah, it's a dry campus, and yet you guys were the Moonshiners.
That stuff's illegal everywhere.
that's great.
North Greenville.
So
Y'all were the Moonshiners, then y'all got saved.
That was before you met Jesus.
Now we're on a
Now you're
mission.
gonna kill
Hold on a second.
everyone.
I was getting ready to say, hold on. How are you gonna go?
Now you're
from
gonna
the-
kill everyone who's not Christian.
They're the Crusaders. That's just like
We did have some non-Christian applicants, but
you might as well be the fundamentalist.
I've actually heard talk that they're trying to change the Crusader,
Yeah.
our mascot from the Crusader, because like some of the professors are like, I can't wear my North Greenville stuff when I go on mission trips.
Yeah.
Go to the Middle East and you're wearing Crusader, like
Yeah.
people have like a negative.
Oh,
Yeah, it's a little
absolutely.
negative.
Yeah, rightly so.
So
Kill everybody who's not a Christian. You know, that kind of hinders your love.
yeah, so
Hinders your
there's
witness.
just like a push for getting our. I
Yeah.
think there's a push for
Yeah.
that.
I like simple mascots. You know, Wildcats,
Bulldogs.
Uh,
Woo.
Blue
Bears.
No.
Blue Devils.
Blue Devils are of the devil.
Going on the man, but anyways, Blue Devils. Justin, have you decided if you're going to go to Duke Divinity yet?
Not yet. I'm still gonna see because I want to go to graduate school eventually, but I don't know if it's gonna be Duke. I don't know if I'm gonna do an internship with RUF first or not. There's just a lot on the table that I have to take into consideration.
You should
But-
intern with Amy Rhodes.
Oh yeah, one of my friends, shout out to Anna Howard, but she is interning at University of South Carolina, so she's gonna be under Sammy. So I just saw him this past week.
I'll tell you what, if you want a plethora of information, Robbie, just read our chat with Mr. Alan Murray. He is killing it tonight. Oh my goodness! Of course, he mentions Duke because Duke is the backbone of American education with the religious institutions. Yes, thank you very much. Okay, what you say? If you're a Tar Heel fan, none on the show. That is awesome.
I'm a
You don't
Tar
count.
Heel.
No, that don't count. No, you can't do that to me. You can't come on here and take Keith Hughes' place.
I'm not Keith.
Good gosh, no Tar Heel fans. Ah, stinky school. Anyway, so let's move forward. So, Miles, now this is going to be the first part of this conversation. Is going to probably be very overtly Christian. So for people who aren't a Christian that's listening to the podcast, you can ignore it, fast forward. I don't care what you do, or you can just listen to what make Christians Christians, and hopefully it'll shed a little more light on the stigma that's been put out there, and hopefully we can erase some of that. But when we were planning, you used a very Christian word. You know, you were declining in your walk.
Oh.
All right.
Yeah.
So to clarify, for everybody who doesn't understand the Christianese term, walk is basically the way we live our life according to how kind of Jesus set it out and biblical values and things like that. You talked about being at a Christian college actually is starting to diminish that quote unquote walk. So you started to elaborate a little bit earlier. Okay, just give me a little bit more elaboration on exactly what that means in the best non-Christianese you can.
Okay. Basically, the way that I felt was that due to me being constantly surrounded by other Christians,
Okay.
or at least people claiming to be Christians who are just going through all of the motions, it gets you in a state of being really comfortable in where you stand. One of, I guess you could say for a Christian, one of the most dangerous things is getting comfortable, because then you start to not try and continue your pursuit of, I guess, trying to be close to God, if that makes sense. And so, sorry.
It's okay. We can do what we want. It's our podcast.
Yeah. Just read somebody's comment, but what I was trying to say was that when I started getting really comfortable, I realized that I was reading the Bible all the time for my classes,
Right.
but I wasn't reading the Bible on my own time.
Right.
And so one of the biggest ways that we as Christians feel like God communicates with us is through His Word.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, man, I've already read all of these books for my classes, and I knew I couldn't justify. I knew that I was like, okay, that isn't an excuse for me not to read.
Right.
But at the same time, I took the excuse of, well, I already read so much today, and I learned so much about God today on a analytic level, I guess,
Right.
that I kind of pushed it off. And then it went from that to me no longer seeking, I guess, prayer time, which
Yeah.
which for Christians is, I mean, essentially it's like texting God And I guess I don't know for someone who wouldn't, for someone.
Talking to him.
Well, yeah, it's like talking to him.
So,
Yo, what's up?
But
BRB.
yeah, it isn't something where like I start talking to him and then he immediately is like, "Hey, bro, how you doing today?" But it's more of like a one-way thing that I don't know. It's I wouldn't really know how to explain that.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, but it's something that I started pushing that back too, and I found, and when I took that Principles of Evangelism class, one of the things that really popped out in that class is that he was saying, what is the biggest evidence of having a good evangelism, being a good evangelist? Right. So like going door to door and doing that, or however it is that you choose to evangelize. And he was like, how do you say this is actually working? Is it by the numbers that you're getting? Is it by how many people are actually listening to you, how many friends you're making, or whatever? And he said, no. The way that you tell that you're being a good evangelist is how that's affecting you as a Christian, is that as you evangelize, God just naturally becomes more centered in your life.
Okay.
And due to that, your walk will get stronger. And just when you're hanging around people, it becomes more of a natural thing that he just kind of comes up in conversation and just things like that. And so I realized that I felt like not being able to evangelize, even on a minuscule level of just hanging out with non-Christians and loving them, because I just don't get that opportunity that much, I saw as something really big that was kind of detrimental. And it wasn't until I got into that church where I was able to start hanging out with youth that are not nearly as, I guess, secure in their beliefs and stuff like that as they are, as my friends at college are.
Okay.
So.
What about you? Do you feel that's the same kind of path that you're on as well there at NGU, being in that place where it's so surrounding with other Christians that it's kind of declining you, or do you find it to be different, Robbie?
I kind of find it the same. Just that like you can learn, like you get more knowledge of God, but like my relationship has ended up declining from that. But like I feel like I know a lot more.
Right.
And I could say all the right things, but like the relationship part is kind of withered away. And it wasn't until I started my internship at the church is when they kind of like bring me back in, because I think it's just more of just getting plugged in somewhere.
Okay.
Because I mean it's easy in North Greenville just to like you have a bunch of friends who live there, and so like, oh, just come to me with this church, come to me to this church, and so you're just kind of church hopping.
Right.
Because you're not really gonna attend this church anyways.
Yeah.
So that was one of the things that really helped me out. Was just getting plugged in somewhere.
Okay.
Consistent.
What about you, Aaron? Do you have that issue at Wingate?
No, because there's not really anyone telling you like you have to do this, you have to go to chapel, you have to be plugged in at a church.
So it's left up to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Besides my Christian friends, I don't have a sense of I have to go to church or I have to read scripture. So really, I think going to like a private university has really challenged me to look deeply into my faith and look at why I believe, because there are some people you were talking about. If there were anyone at Wingate who ran down the streets and shouted John 3:16 at them, there are some people.
Yeah.
Like some random people that do that. And I've had the pleasure of talking to them. That should be a whole another hour of this. Not tonight. Because
we'll get to that. I'm sure we'll get you back on. We'll do that.
I got stories of that too. So.
Yeah, I'm sure you do.
And especially being in classes where most of the professors don't believe, so you really have to figure out what you believe and why you believe it. But also I'm really blessed with a strong Christian community at school, but I also have my share of friends who aren't believers, and then people who are more seeking, people who are interested in Christianity but not believers themselves, and they know that.
Right. Well, I wanna make a point, Justin.
Yeah.
You can probably add into it as well.
Okay.
You know, and of course, I could ask you the same question, but I already know the answer you're going to give me because you're
Oh,
definitely.
are you sure?
Justin, did your walk decline because of the nature of your Christianity at your college?
I wouldn't say that it was the nature of the Christianity at the college. It was just personally.
Okay.
There are a lot of different things. I think kind of what Aaron was saying, that like it's kind of left up to you whether
Yeah.
you want to get plugged in and whether you want to get involved. Because most people that you go to school with aren't Christian or probably nominally Christian. Um, and so you have to kind of make the effort to go out and to find those communities and to get plugged in. But I think I got really, really plugged into some good places early on my freshman year. And so I think that's really, really helped me stay grounded, because there's a lot of times like after classes and stuff where I'm just like, what the heck do I even believe? But just because it's kind of a different approach to studying religion, and so I think having those places where I was really, really grounded, like in my local church, really helped me get through those.
Okay. So let me see if we can correlate this to people who may be listening who don't go to college. And we do a lot of talking to the quote unquote Christian audience, and
Yeah.
those who are in churches and things like that. We do a lot of talking about that. What I want people to hear is when they hear Robbie and Miles talk about, they're always around it. They're not around anything different. There's, it's almost like habit, second nature. It's like breathing. Church is there, praying's there, reading your Bible. There's all this almost routine nature of it. Which, don't get me wrong, people, having a routine's good, but there's got to be something that's a variable in your routine. And I think another question I'm going to ask you, but is the fact that, do you think that one of the reasons, and it may be very obvious, is the fact that the Christian to non-Christian ratio is so one-sided, especially at NGU? Is that one of the big reasons too that you feel like you may have that decline in how you think you should be living?
Yeah, I mean, like specifically for me, that was something that I found really, really clear, especially after taking that
Right.
evangelism, or the principles of evangelism class. That just, yeah, I mean, I kind of said it all earlier.
Right.
It was just that not being around
Mhm.
people who weren't Christians, I felt like played a big part.
Real quick, your college size is about what?
I think 2000.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
What about you, Aaron?
It's
About
about
the same?
the same. Yeah,
So-
2,500.
If I say, give me a ratio, like, out of 100, Christian to non-Christian.
Like proclaiming Christians, or
Yeah.
out
I'd
of
say-
100,
I'd say,
95.
yeah, I'd say around
So
90.
95 to 5. So, wow, that's
Yeah, I would
95%.
probably even on the higher end of that.
Yeah.
Okay, what about you, Aaron? What do you think?
Proclaiming, maybe like 75%.
Okay. Hey, Justin, what about you?
Maybe about 35 at
Yeah.
the most.
But you have, like, what, 17, 18,000 people at ASU?
It's anywhere from 14 to 17,000, depends on the year.
Okay.
I could be wrong, but I think that for North Greenville, when you apply, you actually have to write in like your testimony of becoming a Christian. I could be wrong for that, but I feel like
So
I had to do
is
that.
it a condition, do you think?
I think that was for being an RA.
No, it was before then. I mean, I know
Oh,
I
yeah.
had to do it for that too.
Oh.
It could have been just because I was a Christian studies major, though. It could have been
Okay.
like
Yeah,
a
it might have
special
been
thing
one.
for that.
Okay. But is it a requirement at NGU to be a Christian too?
No.
No.
Okay.
They kind of look at their sports program as a ministry.
Okay.
And the weird thing is that the sports teams all have to go to another chapel on Fridays, like early in the morning too.
Oh, okay.
And so they bring in like a sports guy, so they'll bring in like some former NFL player
Yeah.
to come speak to them,
Okay.
and then
That's also because they have games on Sunday, so they don't get to go to church, ironically.
Oh, okay. Who has games on Sunday?
I don't know. I think it was the football team or the baseball team. I don't know. I mean, this is a different division school, though.
Yeah.
But
our games are still on Thursdays. Football
Yeah.
games are still Thursdays.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know they do something on
Thursdays and
Sundays.
Saturdays.
I know the golf team leaves.
Yeah.
It may have been that they have to travel,
Oh,
and
okay.
so that's why they're not there. But I know that like small tier things, like I was on the Ultimate Frisbee team,
Yeah.
and we weren't allowed to do anything on Sundays,
Right.
but the other teams were out on Sundays.
All right, so we see that there's a. So I want to point this back to like normal people, well, not normal people, people in churches. So what you hear is that if you feel like you're not really doing something, like you feel like you're just going through the motions, it's probably because you're just living inside your little holy huddle. You're inside your church bubble. You go to church on Sundays. You go to church on Wednesdays. The only people you ever hang out with is quote-unquote Christians. Everybody has the same beliefs. Everybody's doing the same thing. You're really not, I used to ask people, how many non-Christian friends do you have? They're like, oh, nobody really. I'm like, well, how does that work for you? How can you live life as a Christian, the Jesus Christian way, and not have anybody you're talking to who are non-Christians? And you're not hanging out with them. You're not doing anything with them. It's kind of weird to me. I think I've always had at least one person in my life who wasn't a Christian, and not because I just need one. It's just because I have a lot of friends.
Hey, you're an atheist. Let's be friends.
Yeah. Hey. Do you know Jesus? No. Hey, you're my friend now.
I filled my quota.
And you're my friend until you firmly reject Jesus, and then I'm no longer your friend. I got to take a moment. I got to take a moment of silence. Well, it's really not going to be silence. It's going to be me talking. But
yeah.
No, you know what, Justin? Remind me of this point after the meat and potatoes, because I do have something I want to talk about.
Okay. You got it.
Yeah, don't let me forget about that. But anyways,
cool.
Back to our Christian kids here. It's weird not having a non-Christian on the show, but anyways, we'll get to that later.
I've been enjoying, what's his name,
Skylar?
Skylar?
Yeah.
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 Enjoying his perspective.
We'll speak about Skylar here shortly. Let me ask you this question. I always thought this. Now, when Justin was talking about his experience up there, he talked about, I just touched his mom's foot. That's weird.
Footsies.
That was great. No, it wasn't. Like touching my own foot, but not. Oh, hold on a second.
You okay?
I'm trying to transition between what I'm saying and what people are talking about on the screen at the same time, and it's not doing well. I gotta figure out how to do this.
Well, go ahead and do just what you were gonna say to us.
So, Justin,
yeah,
you talked about when you were, being up there at App, you would get it because of some of the clubs you were in. You would have some debates, and publicized debates about, between Christians and non-Christians, and that was, I can understand that, right? Because sometimes
sort of debates, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, but y'all did that on purpose. It wasn't like you're in class and then you just like break out into arguments, right?
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
That never happened.
My question is I heard a lot from you two. Now, Aaron, I don't know about Wingate and how it works there, but with NGU, dealing with the Calvinist side of things, the Reformed theology side of things.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah, here we go.
Here we go.
We can't get through a podcast without mentioning.
Seriously.
Yeah, for real. But do you think y'all talk about a lot of the debates that go on up there, and I don't know how heavy it gets, but is there a detraction from being a Christian with the amount of theological debates that happens, and I call it infighting, basically, but do you feel that's that's something that you see a lot there, or you don't see a lot there?
I'll let you go first, Robbie.
I personally don't see a lot of it there, but that's also because I don't try and involve myself into that kind of debate. I'm not going to go out and say stuff to people, or people say kind of like that. I'm just like, okay, that's cool. Like, you do you. But I do know that they had to tell the professors to quit pushing their side of the view on all the students, because it ended up having debates in the classrooms and stuff like that.
So there was literal debates from the professor to the students.
Yeah.
Kind of just ranting, going off his own tangent on what he thinks is right, and just that sort of thing.
Like, he would be teaching on some epistle, and then he would say this, and then someone would be like, I don't agree with that. I think it should be this.
And then the professor argued that. See, that to me is a bit ridiculous. And that's probably just coming from my perspective of the secular university, where like I don't know, that just rubs me really the wrong way.
So it kind of reminds me of just that movie God's Not Dead, except instead of being a secular school and an atheist
Yeah,
professor.
it's Christians doing it between themselves.
Yeah, and I think for some reason I feel that happens more in Christian colleges than it does in
It literally never happens.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey
but-
Justin, have you had an argument with an atheist professor yet?
No.
Okay,
if
just
you do,
making
turn
sure.
it into a chain email.
Yeah, and then write a book, and then get it published, and then we'll have a movie from it, and hey, we'll have money
license.
because you can sell anything to a Christian, literally. Some of the music out
But
there.
I think these kind of things were before I got there. So this is just kind of stuff that I've heard through
Right.
the grapevine. I don't know if this is exactly how it went down,
Right.
but this is how I'm assuming it went down for
Okay.
this to be like a rule.
So, do y'all have a lot of debates with people? Now, Robbie, I'm probably not you, but Miles, because Miles is the debater. He's got to get the mic.
Well,
Well, let me tell you what I've done.
Yeah, I'm a slightly more debater than Robbie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
we
I don't
all
think Robbie
know.
debates at
We're
all.
all confused.
No, like, I mean, to be honest, I've especially with like when it comes to like the Calvinism and whatever other side you happen to fall on kind of debates, I've really made it a point to try and back away from those. Like, I'll still have those as discussions, but like the professor that Robbie was talking about, we had him in the same class,
Right.
and it would get pretty bad.
Okay.
And it was just like kind of me saying, hey, I mean, I feel like this would happen, and it wasn't like me like trying to cause like whatever, but he's just like, well, this is what it is.
Yeah.
And I was like, this isn't one of the verses that is that like I
Right,
guess
right.
black and white
Okay.
kind of thing. And then he would like jump up, and Robbie did make a good point in that he was saying that he could just be equally trying to show his viewpoint, not in the sake of, well, you're a stupid Christian because you're not a Calvinist,
Right.
which is kind of the feel that I got from it.
Mm-hmm.
But he was saying that just whenever there's something that you feel really strongly about and you defend that, sometimes it could just come across that way.
Right.
But I also go to a Reformed Bible study on Tuesday nights, and then I go to a Reformed like book study on Sundays with the same group of people. And so there, like, we'll talk about our differences in like Calvinism or whatever our different
Right.
views are, and it isn't aggressive at all. We
Okay.
we view our things and or we voice our opinions, and then we just kind of move on if we can't get on
Right.
fair ground. But it's
Okay.
still really, I guess, friendly in that sense.
Well, I think that's healthy, though.
Yeah.
Justin, I'm sure
Yeah.
you would agree with that, right?
Yeah, I definitely think so. As long as you can like come together, because I mean I'm involved in a lot of different Bible like kind of groups that discuss theology and stuff like that. I mean I used to be president, I'm no longer president of Defense for Faith here on campus, but yeah, as long as you can get together and discuss these things, but have kind of an open hands about it, not clenching everything with such tight fists and being like, hey, this is what I believe, but I'm open to different perspectives and I'm willing to listen and not be super, super dogmatic about what I believe. So,
You know what I think about that, Justin? That you're not
What?
president anymore.
that's me, man.
Hey, I'm going to go back a couple episodes to when we had Peyton Jones on.
Oh, yeah.
And you remember I was talking about him and Pete and the relationship they have?
Yeah.
I feel we have the same, just enough
Yeah.
disrespect for each other.
Right.
All right,
I
anyways.
agree.
But yeah, I think it's great that you can formulate an opinion and share it, and because, everything's not black and white when it comes to
Only a Sith deals in absolutes.
guess who's a Sith? That's right. And I am.
I guess it's that time.
It is. It's that time on the podcast. But let me finish that statement. But being able to to debate I don't want to even call it debate, just to be able to share each other's opinions. And I think that's a lot, Justin, what we feel here, to
Yep.
share our opinions and say, hey, we can still get along, we still be human beings, we can have a relationship with each other, and and get on about our day. But for me, it feels like now, of course, you said it's no longer happening with the professors like that. But Aaron, does things like that happen down at Wingate?
Um, sometimes.
Oh, tell me sometimes. Tell me what it's saying. I want to hear all about it.
What do you want? Like with the professors or
Give me something
amongst
juicy.
students?
Oh, that's not.
Justin's segment.
It's not. It's not
That's
that
my
time.
job.
That's not. It's not that time yet. Well, yeah. I would rather hear about the professor side of it because I think that's more pragmatic to that leadership style coming down and trying to indoctrinate somebody into something that's
Right.
particularly who they are.
Yeah. So most of the religious studies professors are not believers.
Okay.
Yeah. Same
Um,
here.
So sometimes students will try to convert
Oh, so
their
it's
professors.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's
Not for the most part, yeah.
wow, really?
But it's crazy because you're 18 years old, you're a freshman, and you're trying to
to
tell
debate a person who has a doctorate.
in religious studies that they're wrong and that
Do you, and for the part that we talk about the Christian stigma that's in especially in America today, do you think that's a product of that for these 18-year-olds, or do you think that's the indoctrination that's happened to them and giving them this air of superiority and arrogance that they can go and tell somebody who is schooled and learned way beyond their years? Do you think that's something that's what we're dealing with because that's what they've seen, or is that just let me rephrase that question. Do you think it's a product of indoctrination or just a product of their environment of what they've seen?
I have an answer.
mm,
Okay, you can answer after Aaron.
maybe
She's
a,
the-
maybe a little bit of both. I have a professor who I'm pretty close with, Dr. Pratt, if you're listening. Hey. Um,
Shout out to the doctor.
Yeah. He is very much a philosopher in how he teaches. He asks a ton of questions, and sometimes, like, he's an English professor, and we have a global histories class that everyone has to take at
Right.
Wingate, and it's offered usually sophomore year, like people take it usually sophomore year, and he'll ask some really hard questions about Job because that's a part of the World Lit class.
Yeah.
And people will leave his class saying like, I can't believe he challenged my beliefs.
Oh wow.
Like you don't like how
You don't even go here.
like you don't profess Christianity any other time except when your professor just said, well,
Exactly.
what is suffering?
Yeah.
Why does God allow suffering?
I see that in before Justin answers. I see that with almost every church type of person. Like you're doing your own thing, you're not really doing something. But if somebody says, I don't know about the whole gay marriage thing, or I don't know about if Genesis is really a literal thing, people flip out and now they're super Christian and they know
Yeah.
all of
They
theology.
know everything.
And they quote everything they heard Francis Chan and John Piper and somebody else said, more than likely, Billy Graham. What they've said, and they have no concept if that's true or not, or what that really holds in if it holds up for their camp or not. But the rest of the time, they could give 2 cents about what their Christianity does for somebody else. Only when, like you said, they're challenged.
Because these are the same people who party on the weekends and
Woohoo!
they don't. What the heck was that?
It's our guests who don't know how to keep their phones in their hands.
He
Robbie.
smiles. Or Robbie.
Go ahead, Aaron. I can edit that out.
Yeah, it just boggles my mind because these people are they're just threatened by what they've
Right.
their whole lives,
Yeah,
and they're in
yeah.
college. Isn't that? This is a time where you kind of weed out, like, okay, who am I?
Yeah.
Right.
What do I believe?
I feel that and just from a youth studies point, studying adolescence and adolescent studies or whatever you want to call it, because the adolescence era has been extended to so long. I think that's one of our problems because 20, 30, 40 years ago, guys and girls who were entering college, they were already identified who they were. They were going to college for a certain thing. Their life, because adolescence was ending at 18, 19 years old. It wasn't being extended to 24 years old, where, the guys and girls of this generation have, they haven't matured to the point where they know who they are. So I think that's one of the big problems now in college and why we have such issues is because kids are still trying to figure out who they are. And they're challenging everything because they want to form their own identity, but they're not forming it from the standpoint of knowing who they were as they were being raised as a child. They're trying to figure it as an adult, and it doesn't work like that.
And I think that's an important point. I think that a lot of college students, when they go to college, that's the first time they've not been under their parents.
Yeah.
That's the first time that they've become quote-unquote independent, even though they probably still rely on mom and dad for tuition and all that stuff. But that's the first time they're kind of on their own and are surrounded by people who think and believe differently, and a lot of people aren't prepared for that. And so, the blog post that I wrote a few months ago on this, people get defensive when you challenge their faith because that's an inherent part of who you are. You take your faith as very I mean, a lot of people take their faith as a very central part of their identity, and so when that's attacked, they feel like they're personally attacked, and walls go up, and we tend to get defensive and feel like we have to defend this because if this idea, and I have to defend this idea, I have to defend this faith in order for me to be legitimized in the eyes of everyone else around me, and in order for me to I guess have this sort of rightness, or they don't want to be wrong. And so I think that's where it comes from, and also this stigma that's around college is that knowledge is somehow bad. That a lot of Christian communities will be like, oh, well, you lose your faith in college, or you'll be challenged. You gotta go to a private school where Jesus is taught. And I think that's a very negative way of looking at it, because as Christians, if we believe that knowledge comes from God, if we are made in the image of God, and the Word was God, like the Logos, and that the truth comes from Christ and from God, then why should we be afraid of chasing it? We should look for truth no matter where it may be found. So I think a lot of it is a kind of defense mechanism, and due to fear and anxiety about one's own personal identity. So.
For sure.
Yeah. For me, it's interesting because 20 years. Let's see, what I'm 40. So 22 years ago when I graduated college.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a long time. But when I graduated college, graduated high school. Let's not make me older.
I was like,
yeah, I know. Yeah, it wasn't that long ago. Graduated high school, the guys and girls that I graduated with now, some of some of the people I went to high school with. Y'all saw them in church, but we all kind of had a direction in our life. When we were graduating high school, we were meant to be adults. We were either going to work, we were going to school, or like me, I went to the military. And we all had this direction in our life. And and I know there were some who stayed at home with mom and dad, but it was very rare that you saw, an 18-year-old graduating high school, and kind of really just sticking around. Now there were some who did, but I think it was more of the situation that their parents were in, the economic situation they may have been in, so they had to do certain things. But even still at that point, you saw this transition from being a child to being an adult. And because we were raised to be that way, because, for me, like Justin was saying, it's the first time, when that college experience is the first time somebody's being on their own. I felt like I was on my own, from the time I was 15, because most of us worked. I think every kid I knew basically worked a job somewhere. We all worked somewhere, it was a lot different back in, the early 90s when jobs were a little bit more available to kids as it was to everybody. We all had that ability to work. We weren't struggling to find work. So
Right.
we had those experiences when we graduated, but now, as like I said, there's that shift in adolescence where, kids, you know, full maturity to an adult for an adolescent now, you're looking at 24 to 28 years old.
Hmm.
That's crazy. And you can tell it by, what the average age of being married is like 28, 29, 30 years old now. Where in my day it was like, for anywhere from like 21 to 25. It shows you how times are changing, and either we catch up and figure out what's going on so we can make it work, or we keep we keep falling back and then letting things just kind of spiral out of control. Because I mean, this millennial generation, it's scary to me. I'm like, these are the future leaders of our country, of our schools, of our religious institutions, so to speak, whatever. And it's scary sometimes to see the way it's going, because a lot of it is lackadaisical. It's like, we'll just, whatever comes. There's no real planning behind it. I know there's a few out there that are not like that, but overall, what I see, it's, everybody's on Instagram and Twitter, and, they could care less what's really going on in front of them. It's scary like that, and I think
Right.
that's that process, and we're not on topic at all, but I think it's okay. Speaking of not on topic, let me just give a shout out to a couple of our viewers, Jessica and Annie, who both agreed that you do not have to be a Christian to go to NGU, and I got the ha in there at the end, and also, Jessica said that applying to some scholarships, she would have to write her testimony, but basically because they were Christian type scholarships. But thanks for that clarification.
So do you want to answer Hope's question that she asked?
I was getting ready to ask that question.
Okay, cool.
Hope asked a question to the college students, so Justin, you're part of that category.
Yay!
There's two parts to the question, so anybody can answer it in how you want. But what has been your experience in sharing the gospel in college, and how has it been received? Let's ask the very Christian college people first, since we probably have a very short answer. So go for it.
Yep. I don't really get that many opportunities to share the gospel. Every once in a while, I'll I guess more so than sharing the gospel, I would be like sharing encouragement. So like with Christian friends who might seem to be, I guess, throwing in another Christianese word, stumbling in their walk. So basically, like I was saying, how I felt like I was like not being able to, or I just wasn't on. Oh gosh, man, I'm horrible with the Christianese.
It's okay. We can explain whatever we need to explain to the.
Put like subtitles
Yeah.
underneath what he's saying.
Yeah. So basically, if I feel like I'm not in line with the path that I feel like I'm supposed to be having with God, like with my relationship with Him, when I have friends that are also going through that, I can come along beside them and kind of like talk with them, and I guess like share like verses in Scripture or different like past experiences and things, where mostly in Scripture would be the only time that I'm really sharing the gospel with someone while I'm at college, because pretty much everyone there is already a Christian that I'm actually able to talk with.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much the same thing. Everybody there, either if they haven't heard the gospel, then they go to chapel 2 times a week, which is every week. Listen to the Bible. This is what the Bible's got to say, or it'll say something. Sometimes there's some really good speakers, and I really enjoy those.
Yeah.
But
And I was just going to say that we have had, like, at the chapels, occasionally we do have people receive the gospel there.
Right.
So it isn't where, like, and necessarily how many of those are, I guess, real is questionable. But there's definitely, like, times where we'll have speakers come in and people will be convicted and they will, I guess, receive the gospel. So if that answers your question, it is still happening.
But mostly at college, just working through the internship has been where usually you speaking the gospel to people who don't actually know what they're talking about or what you're talking about.
Right.
Other than that, it's pretty much you're just discipling other people or being discipled.
Okay. What about you, Aaron? How do you feel about that?
My experience sharing the gospel has varied quite a bit because even though Wingate is historically Baptist.
Yeah.
And the majority of the people, yeah, I mean my hand motions.
It's okay. People are watching. It's good.
I use hand motions all the time, so no worries.
It's because we're more intelligent.
Oh, shots fired.
It's all right. I'm more intelligent because I'm operating everything over here.
And doing hand motions.
Yeah.
And doing
Yeah. You're orchestrating everything. So. Well, at one of our campus ministries, go again. Usually every other week, a student shares their testimony. So I've done that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's definitely like the least personal way I've shared the gospel, but also like this past semester, I was in a Bible study with someone who did not believe, and they knew they didn't believe, but they wanted to be in the Bible study anyway. So
That's interesting. That's cool.
Yeah, so I got to share the gospel with her like multiple times because she was just trying to figure out what does it mean to be righteous, what does it mean to be.
But it was more like topical shares. It wasn't like, you're not a Christian and I got to give you Jesus.
Not really, because she was very honest with me and she knew that she wasn't a Christian.
Yeah.
But those topical things would turn into a gospel conversation.
Yeah. Well, and that's what it's more like you have a relationship with her. You're not like, oh, there's a non-Christian here in our Bible study. We must formulate the track plan.
Convert. And then just random stuff in between, like people who hang around the campus ministry people but aren't really Christians. And
right. Did she ever give you, I mean, it's not like she was giving you the...
These aren't the droids you're looking for.
Anyways, sorry about that. Justin wasn't here last week, and I was so busy doing everything else, I didn't get to like give any real sound effects. In the episode with Peyton Jones, we didn't do any, so I'm making up for him tonight. But yeah, it's interesting that you say that because it's like, I think and I use general terms, and me and Justin do this a lot. I think we make general statements, and it's not to if the shoe doesn't fit, you don't have to wear it. You know what I'm saying? But if the shoe fits, you need to look at yourself in the mirror and say, well, is this me? I think a lot of people try to take these opportunities in like Bible studies or church meetings or these evangelistic outreaches or whatever's going on, and they're like, well, I know they're not a Christian.
Justin, what are you doing?
Okay, that's fine. I'll have to figure out how to edit that. But you're not a Christian. So we're gonna everybody get their tracks out. Do you know all your rebuttal questions? It's like a telemarketer's thing. Whatever. Justin threw me off for a second. I'm sorry.
I'm good.
All right, good. But like I've worked a couple of jobs earlier in my life doing telemarketing, and they give you this script, right? And then they got this whole section called rebuttals, and it's like every time if somebody gives you like, well, I don't have the, you have a line to come back on, and I feel that's how Christians are. You've got all these things that you got the rebuttal statement book. If they say this, you say this. If they say this, you say this, and it's never something that's intentional with the relationship. It's not intentional about the person in general. Like that's when you said what you said about sharing the gospel through the, they were topical ideas that turned into gospel sharings because she was sharing and being honest, open with you, and you were giving back to her, and it just kind of pointed, it kind of all pointed to Jesus. Now I know a lot of people out there who really don't care about Jesus, and they would assume that religion would just die and off and go away. But I think that being able to share in that sense, it takes us to another level where we can love differently, and I know a lot of people don't see that, and they wonder why Christians do what we do, but at the very center point of all of it, it's about us loving somebody else so much that we want them to know what we know, and not just because we think we're right, but because we think we know this great love, and that's what we want to share with them. Not sharing with them, we don't, you're going to hell, and that's not what I'm trying to share with somebody. I just want to share with them this love that I know, and why I know this love, I don't know. I'm gonna give you some reasons why I know this love, but it just comes to that. It's not about condemning somebody or trying to break somebody's condemnation, because for us, Christ did that. It's not, we're not breaking it. But anyways, I'm sorry. Get off, Justin. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I had a few other things.
Go ahead.
So we have like a prayer and praise thing on Sunday nights at one of my friends' apartments where we pray for the campus and then sing a few songs. And the guy whose apartment we do it in, like, not all the people in the apartment are Christians. So they see us there, and it's almost like not necessarily we're projecting Christ with our life because I don't share it in words. But they do see that. They do see that we are that we are coming together in prayer and worship together. And one of the guys who lives there is in a lot of my history classes.
Right.
And being a history major, honestly, if I wasn't a Christian, I was a history major, I'd be so depressed all the time. Like,
I know what you mean.
I'm just a Calvinist. I believe in total depravity, and
Oh yeah, you have to.
history is a like
Oh yeah.
yeah. So just being able to see them and for them to know that I believe in something, because most of the history majors do not believe in anything.
Okay.
Mhm.
And
That's
then
interesting.
I have a friend who, well, I don't know, associate, who is a polytheist. She believes in Norse theology for her.
Nice.
We'd all call it something else, but I think she calls it mythology. She does, which is interesting. But she has an altar at her house. And she's extremely, extremely hostile toward Christianity, but she's allowed me into her life, and she's shared a lot with me. Like, you'd have to, I don't know what you would have to say to get me, like, riled up and offended, because I really don't think that exists anymore.
Right.
But being able to speak with her, because I don't know how to share, like, I'm not trying to share the gospel with her because she knows the gospel.
Right. Well,
She has her set beliefs,
yeah.
but just, like, she also knows what I believe, and we've talked about what I believe, and just
Mhm.
being there for her because she doesn't have a car, so I've opened,
Yeah.
my resources up to her, like, hey, if you need a ride somewhere, I'll take you wherever. Hey, if you need food or something, like, I'll do whatever. I feel like that's the best way to reach her.
I want to make a statement that Norse theology, so it's like Odin,
Yes,
Thor. That I don't want to say that's cool, but it is, because I just finished two of Vikings, and I'm like, is it not great? I'm like, but the funny thing about the show is that there is this direct correlation with Christianity and their gods. I mean, it in the center of the clash. I mean, it's crazy how it works, and I can see how she would have that mentality to be very hostile towards Christianity, because that's a very hostile, and we can call it a theology, exactly. Because it is about gods. So, but it's because that's a hostile type of group of people, and it's crazy that plays out. But for me, and I'm just going to say in the show, how there's this mixing of, there's a person and a person on each side, and they're trying to find the medium between the two and have this relationship with each other as, friends, very close friends. You know what I'm saying? To make that work. And it's kind of cool that you're saying that, because you're trying to have this middle ground where you have a relationship with her and she's having a relationship with you. And guess what? It's based off resources, just like in the movie as well, or not the movie, but the show as well. So it's just interesting to me because I caught that.
Out of curiosity, and I mean, I'm not necessarily trying to make a joke with this, but what would her view with, like, the Avengers be? How it has Thor? Would she see that as, like, almost like a crack at her religion?
I think she's seen the Avengers, so I think she's cool with it.
Okay,
I don't know.
Yeah.
Obviously not canon.
Yeah.
But I think she's okay with the Avengers as a movie.
Well, I just wasn't sure if she would, like, if it would.
If it would offend her or something, like they're making a mockery of.
Like Christians feel upset when, like Jesus Christ Superstar came out, or stuff like that. oh my gosh, how can you, you know what, leave it alone. If you know it's not the truth, then don't
Yeah.
get, and forgive me. I remember one time I was in school and somebody called my mom a whore, right? And I was like, at first I was very upset, and I was and when I was little, I wasn't a fighting kid. I was the bullied kid, so I didn't know how.
Amen, brother.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. And so a teacher told me, it's like, look, is it the truth? And I'm like, no. She goes, don't get pissed off about it. Don't be upset about it. If it's not the truth, then it doesn't matter.
Mhm.
Only when the truth comes does it matter. So
Yeah.
that's my point of view. So, and of course, her truth to that is that it's not the truth. So then it shouldn't really, shouldn't
she
matter.
doesn't.
Yeah. Let me ask you this question, Justin. I'm going to get you in on this question too, real quick.
All right.
All right. So we talk about, we really don't share the gospel with certain people because they know the gospel, right? Because they've heard it. My question is, and I'm just going to be, is it funny that I'm going to say the devil's advocate here, but can, just because somebody, if you tell the person the gospel, right, or they say, right, I know the gospel, I've read the Bible, do they really know what the gospel is? I mean, can they pick out the finer points of it? Or does somebody have to come along and tell them, like Erin, you say she knows it because she's heard it from you or from somebody else, or is it something she learned on her own? Because I think about people like this, I know what the gospel is. And I'm like, do they really know what the gospel is? And it's not because I want to force it on you, but I want you to know that even though you may know something, is it the truth that I know that what is the gospel? But just because you've heard it, like I'm saying, there's a Christian stigma out there, so they all think this one way. But are they thinking of it or know it truly what it really is?
Well, with her specifically, the reason why I said that is because I don't think we're at that level in our friendship where I could share the gospel with her. She was raised in a more conservative environment, and I'm sure she had, she had the church.
There's a Christian background to her.
Yeah.
Though. Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like a church background of some sort. But usually, I mean, so many people think that they know, but it's just what people have projected to them, or like just a part of it. Like, Jesus died for your sins. That's not fully the gospel. Jesus.
Yeah.
Why do sins matter?
Yeah.
Right.
If you don't address those two things, why? What's the point? If you don't say, like, God created man is, this is the totally short version.
Yeah.
Man is in need of a savior.
Yeah.
Jesus is that savior to save you from yourself.
Right.
If you leave any part of that out, who cares?
Yeah. Man, this is the only thing I hate about podcasting is that you only have so much time to do it.
Yep.
Man, we're going to have to transition here, and I hate that because Justin asked you the same question.
No.
And but I think these are points that we can pick up again at a later point because there were a couple of things I wanted to hit back at Miles and Robbie, but I want to ask this last question before we move on. Does being like at NGU now, I would know the answer from you, Erin, because of what we've discussed about Wingate so far, but does being at NGU feel like you're living in a church? Like, you've been to churches, you've been to conservative churches. Does it feel like you're like in the forever church right now?
I don't necessarily feel like I'm in a church. I know that the first week that me and Robbie were there, we felt like we were at church camp. Because like we get there and everyone's like acting like a quote unquote super Christian, and there's like all these activities where we're all like going and playing tag and we're all going and doing those different things. And I had never actually gone to, or I went to a Christian camp once, but I don't even really remember it. But Robbie said that it was like a Christian camp, and I could totally vision that being what that would feel like.
Okay.
But I don't necessarily feel like I'm in a church building per se.
Okay.
Yeah, I definitely don't feel like I'm in a church, but you can definitely feel like it's being run by a church, or like you're living in like a pastor's house kind of thing.
Okay.
I'd say more like that, just because there's so many rules that you have to follow, like, and there's there's a curfew, but
Yeah.
no one enforces the curfew. But I guess you could get in trouble for it if
Okay.
someone really wanted to. But I mean, other than that, you're just kind of like hanging out at a college, a smaller college,
All right.
and so.
Cool. Well, that answered that last question for me. We'll be back in a minute. That was Meat and Potatoes, people.
Come in and find your end. Come in and trade yourselves. Work free and ease your fares. Burden is not enough. So fight for action now.
Hey, guys and girls, welcome back. That was Wolves at the Gate with the new CD reprise, the acoustic session, and that was Relief with Toby Morrell.
Nice.
Awesome. Awesome. Oh,
Yep.
man. I'll tell you how awesome it is. That's all I've listened to all day is that 6-song EP. That's all that's played in my head. Man, there were some things we started to talk about in the Meat and Potatoes that I couldn't talk about because I didn't want to distract too much from
The main topic.
Yeah, and it's hard because there's so many things that come up, and you want, because we're just talking. That's what we do on the show.
Yep.
We're just really talking. We're not, this is not the serial podcast that, which if you listen to the serial podcast, excellent.
It's so good.
But it's not like that. We're not like NPR. We're not, we're not a sermon podcast where we got, we got to make the alliteration and the 3 points and the P's and but we're just having conversation, which is fun for me because I don't get to have a lot of conversation about some of these topics with too many people outside of my wife. I mean, my wife, we talk about it a good bit, but outside of that, not so often, especially when you work in an environment that I work in. It's not bad. It just is. But anyways, moving forward, we were talking about Scholar, and man, every time I start to speak about it, I get a little choked up.
Oh.
But it's not funny, dude. It's not funny, man. It hurts me.
It's Justin's reaction. So.
Oh. Yeah, Justin's reactions are hilarious. Thanks, Justin. No.
No, I mean, I'm sad too. So, I mean, do you want me to say it?
No.
So, I mean, he's alive and well, so don't worry, people who are listening. But he did move back to Iowa. I believe he got a job. Is that what the reason was?
Yeah.
Just how fast the night changes.
Yeah, he got a job back up in Des Moines at a recording studio, and so he's headed back up there. He's driving. He was driving yesterday. He may still be driving. Hopefully, he's home, safe and sound. I haven't heard from him yet, but he will still be on the podcast with us. He's gonna.
Oh yeah.
Oh, nice.
No, he's. Let me. I'll. Basically, he got me because he's like, man. He kind of told me, he's like, you don't know how much it means to meet you guys and the love that y'all shown us, and it was tough, man, because I felt like I was losing like a family member, and he was here with us. I mean, not that long, but but he made a definite impact on our lives here, and we all loved him, and it's not like he's gone,
Right.
But it's tough because when people move on and do different things, you feel that, and this is my thing for Forgetting Walls. Hey guys and girls, he wasn't a Christian. He was plain Buddhist, and dude, he was great and awesome, and he loved us, and we loved him, and
he loves us. We love him. He's not dead.
Yeah.
He still is proclaiming Buddhist.
Yeah. Where people would like, oh, did he get saved? Before he left? I was like, no, because I think I asked him one time, you want to be a Christian scholar? He's like, nope. I was like, okay.
It's only because I wasn't on the last podcast. Let's be honest.
yeah. Justin missed.
Irresistible grace.
Justin missed his opportunity to convert scholar. Oh, that was just. So Justin,
Yes.
you know what time it is?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's time to get juicy with Justin's Juicy Bits.
All right.
And we'll. We will never forget scholar. No matter what we do on this podcast, we will never.
All right, so let's get this thing started because we're already headed a little bit long, so I'll try to keep these short. So the first thing I have in my little segment here, I have Aspen Man hires stuffed owl as his defense attorney.
What?
It's exactly what you think. Defending yourself in court in a court case is rarely recommended, but appointing a stuffed owl as your lawyer is really bird-brained. Nevertheless, that's who, or what, Charles Abbott brought as his attorney when he appeared in an Aspen, Colorado courtroom on Tuesday, in Associated Press reports. The article goes on, and so essentially what this dude does is, he basically goes into the courtroom, puts a stuffed owl on the defense attorney desk, and said that and told the judge that the owl, named Solomon, would be his legal counsel until a public defender was assigned to the case.
Very wise.
Quote, he's a very sensitive guy and has law degrees from Yale, Harvard, and Stanford, Abbott told the judge, according to the paper. I think he'll be able to represent me before a public defender comes online. The judge ignored the owl, who had little to say during the proceedings, but asked Stranahan if he'd amend the court case to allow a mediation. Stranahan declined, saying he didn't feel safe being in close proximity to Abbott. So the hearing ended with the order still in place. However, Abbott is allowed to attend the same church, provided he doesn't initiate contact. So basically, it was like a restraining order sort of thing. But yeah, the owl had no comment. But yeah, so I thought that was pretty interesting.
Hope just said Hedwig can represent me any day in court.
Very nice.
I just, And
so I'm pretty sure, I want to believe this is a very sarcastic thing, that the dude wasn't really appointed a lawyer, and so he got frustrated and brought a stuffed owl to it, and was like, this guy will represent my case until someone appoints me a defendant, or a defending judge, or a defending lawyer.
Oh.
I don't understand people. What else you got me?
All right.
That was interesting, but I don't know. I just think the level of intelligence for people in today's world is
Scary.
People are de-evolving.
Well, the next story is definitely gonna. Well, not the next one. The last one I'll definitely relates to that de-evolving theory. But before that, so I've been trying a lot of new drinks recently, since I turned 21 last year, and one of my favorite drinks is a gin and tonic. And so this article was really interesting to me. So for $300, you can drink gin made from the bodies of foraged ants.
Okay.
Hold on a second. Back that up.
Yep. So basically, Anti-Gin, a new brand of liquor produced in the UK, is using insects to help flavor the spirit. The most striking feature of the gin is its inclusion of foraged red wood ants from forest in Kent, England. These ants fire acid into the air when threatened in nature, which some people have said smells, quote, a bit like salt and vinegar, according to the Telegraph. Anti-Gin thought it could harness these unique aromas to create a, quote, distinctive flavor. So basically, I think that's pretty interesting. I don't know if I would drink it, though. So every purchase comes with a 50 milliliter bottle of quote pure wood ant distillate to give an untarnished taste to the aromatic creatures.
Oh my gosh. Man, have we run out of ideas that this is what we're coming to?
You mean just as like society?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
fire ants.
Yep.
I mean, those things hurt.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I have no words.
So would you drink it?
No?
I don't know. It might be interesting. I don't know if I'd pay $300 for it, but I think
Well, okay, yeah, I'm not drinking it.
yeah, it's $300.
Yeah, nope.
It's
That's
gin and
ridiculous.
tonic.
Yep. Only 99 bottles of the liquor will be produced,
Well, good. Only 99.
each containing the essence of about 62 wood ants.
I'm gonna have to pass on gin and tonic.
Put some fire ants in pine sol and get the same effect.
Yep.
It'll be cheaper too.
Yeah.
And good point. If you're allergic to ants, that would be terrible.
Yeah, don't drink that drink if you're allergic to it. Okay, Justin.
All right, now for the ultimate de-evolution sort of thing, did you get the link I sent you?
I saw the link.
Okay.
I look at it, but I saw it.
So I saw this video. I think it was either yesterday or the day before,
Mhm.
and I think it's a beautiful video. The fifth grader in me rejoiced. So basically, okay. This quote fart symphony is the sound of brotherly love. So some people might think that his music stinks, but for something the composer quote pulled out of his butt, the fart symphony is downright beautiful. So basically, this dude he recorded a fart, and it just sounds like a normal fart, and then he like slows it down and replays it, and it turns out it's like the 7th scale arpeggio in B flat with a trill at the end.
Oh, I guess.
And then he puts like flute music and stuff to it.
You ready for this?
So that's the normal recording. And then he slows it down. This is what it sounds like on flute. Oh, no. Wrong one. There you go. And so just the two together.
I feel that best work is behind me.
You're welcome. Are you crying?
I think yeah.
I broke Keith. I broke Keith.
Funny
It's
as fuck.
happened. It's
Watching.
happened.
It's still going.
Yes, but don't end the show.
Anyway, I thought that was a good thing.
Sorry, I just right on top of Justin.
I thought that was a good thing to end the show with.
Justin, that was great.
Oh, thank you.
That was something. That was enlightening.
Oh. Okay, everybody.
So this is why aliens don't visit us.
Saying all that, I'm Keith Wilson.
I'm Justin.
I'm Miles.
I'm Robbie.
I'm Aaron.
And
And Keith is broken.
I am so broken. So
We did it.
Want me to pray for you?
you know, it just reminds me that
I mean, what are we, a team? No. We're a chemical mixture that makes chaos. We're a time bomb.
everybody just remember people are not projects. They're people just like you and me. So love them like you love yourself.
Farts.
Farts and all.
Farts and all, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you for listening to the Forgetting Walls podcast. If you're subscribing to us on iTunes, leave us a rating to help us spread the word about this podcast. Remember, the only way this works is if you share your story. So be sure to visit the website and leave us a comment at forgettingwalls.com, or find us on Twitter at forgettingwalls and facebook.com/forgettingwalls.
First.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
That's a wrap.
Woo!
Oh my goodness. I wasn't trying to rush it, but man, I didn't. Oh,
Nope, no slam.
man. That's the problem with flow podcasting.
Yep.
It's you run into time constraints. So
Yep.
yeah, I'll fix that for us.
Yeah, no worries. There's a lot of like silences and stuff we can take out.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, it's not gonna be too bad. There's some stuff in the middle that I'll be able to take out.
Right.
Oh yeah, Hope wants the link to the fart. Hold on, Hope.
Yes.
Give you the link to the fart.
You got it. And Kelsey said new theme music right there.
Oh my god. Oh, that was freaking hilarious. I don't remember last time.
If Facebook still did that thing where you could put like a video on your page, and like every time someone went to your page, it would play.
Oh
That'd be
my
it.
gosh. I'm gonna put the link in the video description. So
Okay.
I'll put the link there for people.
Yeah, and everyone who's still like watching, there's 7 people that I see.
Yeah.
Everyone's still watching and that stuck with us. Thank you so much for joining us and for listening to all our silliness. I hope you were encouraged in one way or another, and enlightened maybe.
Just before we end the live stream session, thanks for working with us. We're still working out the kinks in how we look at it. I've got to do probably a new room arrangement. Well, the new house, when we build the new place, and I'll have everything set up differently.
Ooh,
And
exciting.
yeah, so I'm thinking ahead on what to do there, but we'll see it. Just before we leave, so people who are still watching the live stream, Alan wrote, when he tempts me with silly sins, I say, devil, yesterday I broke wind too. Have you written it down on your list? I am of a different mind 10 times in the courses of a day, but I resist the devil, and often it is with a fart that I chase him away. It's interesting. I get the good stuff.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I'll put the link description in the video down below. And man, that was a rap podcast. That's gonna be fun to edit.
Yeah.
Last week's podcast that was a challenge.
Oh really?
Yeah, it was. I had a lot of cuts. I had to take a lot of stuff out of that. I mean,
Gotcha.
I trimmed out 10 minutes of talk.
Hmm.
It was crazy. And
See what happens with this one.
I don't think I'll trim out as much.
Yeah.
More than likely, but I will. Hey.
Hey, sweet. Shout out to the Gores.
Yeah.
Oh. Hey, Gorth.
Gorth.
Michael and Chris.
So we got to do it again.
Yes.
Aaron, definitely need you back. There's some stuff I want to talk to you about and get y'all back on. Well, y'all can. I mean, honestly, if you're available, come on by and
Yeah.
we'll do it. Let's see. Let me. Guess it's about time to end the live stream.
Yep. So before we end it, thank you all for watching and listening, and we hope to see you next week.
Yeah, tell somebody. I don't know if what it looks like for somebody on the other end to watch us while we're doing this, because it's
I've
to
watched. It was funny.
me. Was it?
Last week.
Yeah.
during the live thing.
Yeah, it's interesting because you don't know really what's going on when you're on this side of it, and I
Right.
don't ever get to know. Maybe one day I'll know what it's like to sit. Because like Justin, you'll get to listen to the podcast, last week's podcast, as a listener, not as a.
Yeah, and it's so weird. It's so different.
Yes, it's interesting to me to
Yeah.
do that. I don't know if I'll get to do it or not, but.
But yeah, one of my favorite parts is just the interaction that we get on YouTube for all the comments. So
Yeah, and like I said, we'll work out the kinks there, people, but we do appreciate you watching with us and interacting with what we can. Also, like I said, yeah, share it, get on Facebook, tell people about it, tell other people about it. Hey, my thing is we're always going to post audio, but if this works, if people likes this, we'll keep doing it. I mean,
Yeah.
it worked tonight.
oh yeah,
I really liked it last week, and I liked it.
I cut out a few times, but it's okay.
Yeah, it's
It's
tough.
okay. That was my fault because I was kind of like fiddling with some of the controls, so that was mostly my bad.
It's like, what is he doing to me up there? But the fun part is editing it. So
Yep.
everybody gets to see the unedited version on YouTube now. So
Oh, now we have the most amount of people watching right now.
that is we're
Right when we're about to end.
How many?
9.
9.
That's
We
the
got
most we've ever had now. We reached a new record,
Number
9
9.
people. Yeah.
Woo!
Again, thanks everybody. The interaction, we'll work on it, like I said.
Yeah.
I'll probably it's mainly how my main monitor is set up
Yeah.
to the bigger monitor, so we'll figure it out. I know they're still catching up down at the bottom. I don't know. It's on like I don't know what kind of delay it's on.
Yeah, it's on like a probably 30-second delay.
Well, oh, did I not? Ball sack. I thought I had the. I probably didn't turn the delay off this week.
Gotcha.
Last week I turned the delay off.
That's alright. It still worked out.
No, I didn't like that. Last week I liked no delay,
Yeah.
but I can't find it today. No, I got no delay today, but there's still a delay.
Yeah.
Anyways,
No worries.
that's the good stuff. You know, it is what it is.
Yep.
So, 15 hours of view time, so that's not bad.
Hey.
Everything looks good,
Mm-hmm.
and we're going to end up. Any final thoughts, input from you guys, since it's like Robbie's been on a couple times?
Jesus Camp is not necessary to view. You don't have to view it.
Yeah.
Please be warned.
Yeah.
It's don't watch it at night when you're alone.
It's not going out to the 9 people that are watching us right now.
I do not endorse Jesus Camp. I have just seen the documentary a few times.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to end up.
Alright.
Any final thoughts?
Hush.
Input from you guys? There. Sorry. Yes, Core Twins. Those are cool Star Wars cups, aren't they?
Yep.
This one holds
They
my
are.
accessories, and this one holds my beer caps.
I was watching earlier episode 19, and you guys were talking about going to see
Yeah.
The Force Awakens.
Uh-huh.
I'm trying to go.
Oh, we're down?
Yeah,
Yeah. That should be
Yeah.
like a...
December
A
18th.
podcast at the theater.
Oh, my gosh.
That'd be so insane.
You know, the funny thing is, you know, like, going to that, you know, I'd love to live tweet it and all that good stuff. I just can't. I can't bring myself to do anything
No.
but watch the movie.
Yeah.
I don't want to miss, like, a nanosecond of
Yeah.
anything. Yes. So, and saying all that, Justin,
Yep.
dude, it was weird tonight.
Uh-huh.
The only thing about this is weird is that I don't get to see you the whole time.
Oh, really? I get
Yeah,
to see you
oh,
the whole time.
Well, I mean, I can see your little picture.
Uh-huh.
down
Oh,
the
okay.
bottom, but don't you, when it switches, you see yourself, right?
I see myself the entire time, too.
Are you like, but what I'm saying is you see your little self, right?
Yeah.
Are you switching back and forth from big to small?
No.
So it's always big on your end.
You guys are always on the full screen.
Okay. So you're not here. So when you look at YouTube, how you see it switch is what I see.
Okay.
So
Gotcha.
it's weird.
I don't know.
I think it's going to be weird for people looking. That's what I want to see. Like, if you're out there, is for everybody who's watching, was it weird to see it going switching back and forth like that?
Kelsey said it was weird.
Okay.
Her opinion is the only one that matters.
To Justin. No, because I don't. I mean, that's how it's going to work. I mean, unless I can put one person's screen up and be presented the whole time. I mean, I can do that, but
just put Justin up.
Oh, geez, the entire time.
Yeah, that may be a good thing. But I don't know. We'll continue to work with it. Right? I mean, we're doing this right. We're doing the live stream like this right now because
we're a work in progress. It's fine.
It was like it's making me car sick. Is it like morning sickness, Hope?
Oh.
I'm just watching myself in the delay. I'm like, chubby.
Do everything in the delay, so it's just an infinite loop.
Well, I had fun, Justin. How about you?
I did too.
You got to experience the live stream with us.
Oh yeah.
It was nice having Aaron on. Aaron, what does your schedule look like through the summer?
Insanity. Because after Beach Project, I'll be going to the Dominican Republic from July 24th until August 1st. But then I'll be home for like 11 days. Then I'll be going to Cuba.
Trade embargo lifted. Aaron goes to Cuba.
August 12th through the 17th. And that'll be a mission trip too.
So you're missing my birthday. Sorry.
Okay. Mine.
The 13th.
What a jerk.
I know.
13th and the 10th. No, August 1st or July 3rd.
No. What's my birthday?
What is your birthday?
It's the day before mine.
Yeah.
Oh.
August 12th.
Okay.
August
12th.
But like while you're at the beach project,
Mm-hmm.
what does your schedule look like while you're there?
Well, I'll be working during the day, and then we have like different training nights, like for Bible study, prayer, stuff like that. But I can see if I can leave, because you're not really supposed to leave, but I live an hour away, so.
Yeah. Well, like on Thursday nights, if you say, hey, I can get away, let us know. Because Justin, that was the other thing.
Yeah.
Your schedule.
Yep.
On Thursdays, what was it?
So I work Thursday nights now, from 9 to like 2 o'clock in the morning.
Well, that
I'm gonna see if I can start to switch my shift with someone else, and like permanently switch that shift.
Yeah. So if you can, that would be great.
Yeah, I'm gonna see what I can do.
So we can get back on regular schedule. But if you can't, then we'll
adjust.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah. All right. Cool.
Sweet.
If it's always gonna be Thursday nights, is it you guys just gonna try and do Wednesday nights then, or?
You know,
just this way, if I go talk to the Isles tomorrow and she's like, well, what days do you want off? I can tell her.
Yeah, I think Wednesdays will work the best, don't you think?
Yeah, probably.
Unless you wanted to switch to like recording Mondays and planning later in the week. I mean, I don't know.
We'll see. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, you let me know about your schedule, and then we'll make that decision.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, but we try to stick to Monday and Thursdays, doing what we're doing. It's worked pretty well.
Yeah.
And that means I don't have to, get up on Saturday morning and.
Yeah.
That was tough. Saturday
that
morning.
was tough.
Had to wake up and get ready. I'm like, oh.
Oh yeah. I remember those days back in the podcast, back when we were wee baby.
Okay.
That's what you don't hear on the audio podcast.
Yeah, you don't hear that at all. Wow.
It reminds me of that meme, that black lady where she's like,
Kitties. Man, I could have.
ooh.
All the filters, man.
Yeah. All right.
Looks
So.
really, really white in that one. Ooh.
Whoa.
How are you doing that?
And Robbie show.
Hello and welcome to the Miles and Robbie Show. I'm Robbie.
I'm Miles.
And today we're talk about video games.
Bye.
Well, in saying that, we need to end the live stream.
Yep.
Me about
Bye, guys.
All right,
Just comes out from behind me.
Justin, I will see you. I'll talk to you later.
Okay.
Get up
Sounds
with
good.
something about the GoFundMe stuff.
Okay.
Bye, babe.
Later, dude.
Bye, guys.
And bye.
See ya, Justin.
Bye.